excited. Oh, oh, hold on. We're actually hold on. I'm live already. Let me lock in. Yo, what's up, chat? What is up? What is up? What is up? How are y'all doing on this fine Sunday evening? Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are doing great. I'm back. And to say that sounds weird considering I streamed earlier today, but I feel like this is the first public stream I've done maybe in years. So yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up with y'all chat room? What's up with y'all? Here to talk about some manga and stuff like that. Something that I think we'll start doing a bit regularly, or something I'll be talking about, getting some rotations of people to talk with about these particular things. Just since, you know, on the pod we're switching things up. With me here today, I have an illustrious guest. One you may know if you're a member, one you may not if you've only been paying attention to the public streams. You know, unveiling. There we go. Lethality. Yo, say what's up to him. Let him know.
Hi.
Yeah, that's the enthusiasm and vigor and excitement, and I wish I had another word. I like doing things in threes.
What's the timer for cursing? Like,
what's the timer for it's like 10 minutes. So don't say a swear word for 10 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah, do your best. Yeah, she thinks it's 10 minutes, chat. Look at her. In any case, we got a lot of manga to talk about, chat room. We got a lot of manga to talk about. I will give you guys the rundown of the list. Let me shrink chat a little bit. This is too big on here. Let me shrink that. Put that more in the middle. There we go. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about some manga. Lethality be reading a lot. I be reading more. I didn't have to say that. That's my fault. That's my bad. That's strike one, chat. Let me lock in. But yeah, we're gonna be getting into it.
Name one thing I'm not reading that chat cares about.
Yeah. I can name a lot of things you're reading that chat probably don't care about either. But that's what we're here to change, right? We're here to put them on. We're here to let them know why they care about the things we're about to talk about. You know what I mean? Yeah. Did I say, by the way, for the starting order that we were going to talk about Sakamoto Days or Ichi the Witch first?
Oh, I got Sakamoto first, is what you said.
Okay.
If you have any words, if you'd like to.
Yeah. You have
there's
words.
things you feel like you haven't been able to talk about for a while.
Yeah, you know, I just really want to like wax poetic about, like, you know, Suzuki's Sakamoto Days. You know what I mean? God, I love manga, and I love this manga. Lethality ain't reading Marvel comics. Kashima Glazer, this is a genuine request. Please don't get her started. Dead ass. We're 3 minutes in. Let's lock in. We don't gotta talk about Sakamoto Days, but we do. This chapter was, yo, chat. It would y'all jump me if I said this chapter was less ass than the previous chapters? I don't really care about what's old dude's name? Gozu. And the like, oh, but my backstory was so sad because I was like a child experimentation subject or whatever. It's like, all right, bro, we don't care. Not gonna lie, just shoot more lightning or whatever. But otherwise, I thought it was cool. I think Osaragi having some like horror movie vibes felt like a bit of a return to form in terms of like how she was presented initially. It was very nice. It was very cool. And Shishiba did stuff. You know what I mean? Yes. Oh, by the way, shout out Lemon for drawing the PNG of Lethality that we have up on stream today. Thank you very much. But yeah. What do you think about this Sakamoto Days chapter? Lethality? Hold on, wait. Which direction are you in? So I know.
Oh my god. Yeah, better than the last two chapters have been better than the past few ones.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like recycling through what's left of Sakamoto Days. What's interesting? I don't know. Can you name another character that'd be nice to see again? Like Nagumo didn't die. Yeah, you know, besides him, is there anybody that we could give a fuck about coming back? At least these two. It's just been cool to see them. Shin?
Yeah, I like Shin. Oh no.
Sorry. No, I didn't mean to say it like that.
No, it's cool. No, it's cool. I understood that this was gonna happen. Let's fucking do it, right? It's gonna happen a lot. Let's go ahead. Put him up, right? What's wrong with Shin? Like, talk to
That's
me.
not a big. This isn't a big disagreement. Shin's cool. I just forgot about him for a moment because the fucking manga hasn't remembered him for a moment. I don't. That's not my fault.
Chat. She's never heard of perspective switches, by the way. She's never heard of perspective switches, by the way. She thinks the story. No, don't get mad. Wow, I actually felt a pit of anger there. You forgot about Shin. That's a deuteragonist right there. Put that to the side. Just kind of waiting for the final fight. Not gonna lie, that final fight is probably gonna be ass. Yeah.
Even if it's good, I don't even know if that recovers it like at all. Like, sure, you'd hope for that, but I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I want to stick it out. Like, that's why I didn't stop reading it. I haven't like stopped completely caring about it, but I don't know. It's a good example of like how to lose an audience, how to lose interest in your story. I don't know, by like not doing what you've always done. It felt like every other chapter of Sakamoto Days used to have really good spreads, and I don't even know if the last two chapters had something that counted. Maybe the chapter before last, where she's choking her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I think it, like the obvious big thing is just like Sakamoto Days kind of took a pretty bad turn in terms of like the antagonist that was going up against, the story, and I mean even in more recent, like maybe the past 20-30 chapters, it's just like looked a bit worse. The fights have been significantly less interesting choreography, at least in that respect, and it's like, damn, your story was never that great to begin with, you made it worse. Your characters were never that great to begin with, you made them less interesting, and your fights got worse. Damn, it's tough. It do get
they've gotten really used to just the panel, because yeah, even the most recent one where Shishiba and the electric guy, like they're just flying around in the air. They're just up in the air facing each other in a sort of action pose, and that's become what feels like half the panels.
Yeah.
At this point, there was a point where it felt like every other piece of action, every moment where they're going around looked pretty unique. But now I don't know. There's a part that feels like you see them like sliding on the ground. They land. Shishiba's like oof or whatever. And it's like that could be. I feel like I might have seen that panel like 40 times. Like in World Trigger, you know that the mangaka has like an asset list of characters that are drawn, but it's mostly for the dialogue exchange stuff when they're just talking heads. But Sakamoto Days feels like it's gotten to a point where like there's a vault of panels just to reuse of like, oh yeah, let me open up the Shishiba file and I need a Shishiba flying through the air attacking somebody panel. Like it just kind of feels like a bummer when before it felt, I don't know. Well, you know, it's just like energy drain on an author, yada yada. Shonen Jump sucks with that, but yeah, it's just been a bummer.
Yeah. Definitely a lot less visually interesting for sure. Scatological Days is crazy. Suzuki GPT is assumedly flaming out at this point. Data center got bombed or something. Don't say that, demon. That's not nice. That's a human. Characters have to stop talking. I don't think Electra Guy said anything remotely cool. Wow, it's so cool when both hosts know about manga. Hold on, I got tears in my eyes. Give me a second.
Ronan, how strong would Full Potential Dagon be?
Why did someone in chat ask that, or is that like a genuine question from the depths of your soul?
Yeah, now it's also a genuine question from the depths of my soul. Do you got an answer for that?
Not gonna lie, Full Potential Dagon. Let me think. Water. That's a. I'm not gonna lie. Hold on. Let me think. Loki might got the least potential out of the Disaster Curse Spears. Not gonna lie. I mean, it has like really good domain stuff. Like it might go kind of crazy in clashes. Like I could see Dagon getting to the level where he's like, you know what, fuck you, bro. Domain clash with me right now.
Where does Full Potential Dagon scale in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Cinematic Universe?
Let's see. So, like the Punisher, probably about there. Yeah, probably like a Punisher level threat.
John Bernthal? Okay, Dagon is John Bernthal level. There we go.
John Bernthal level, and you want to know why? It's just because he doesn't take naps, right? Dagon does take naps, he doesn't, so it's kind of like different. Dagon is hard capped to being a Kashimo victim. I don't know how to say this. Dagon might be the single worst matchup for Kashimo this story has ever seen. And I'm not even saying that to say he loses. I'm not saying Kashimo necessarily loses, but to say he is a certified Kashimo victim is funny because like Dagon just activates his curse technique, and Kashimo deadass might lose like half of his functionality. Um, Lightning beats water. Kashimo laser. What happened? You know what? I'm not gonna do this with you right now. Dagon going high diff with some dudes from my football team. How's it going, Unk? Hey, yo, Sleeping Danger, are you in a bad mood or not, bro? I just want to know if like it means something to you. Um,
How's it
he's
going Pokemon terms? Because I don't know Pokemon.
I don't know Pokemon either. All I know is that when Kashima got thrown in water, he like lost. Yuji doing Kashima dirty too? Nah, hold on, sure. Which Yuji? Modulo Yuji might be able to eke out a high diff win.
Okay, if we're scaling in Pokemon, well, Electric is super effective against water types, so I don't know. You
Yeah,
know, and there is one reference within JJK where types are pointed out as mattering, like Hanami against Jogo would be a bad matchup. So
yeah,
like, you know what?
yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. No, types do matter, and that's why Kashima fucking domain expansion. Yeah, bro, you're in the sea. What's now? Hello, good night. Hello, and good night, Maria. Um,
Good night,
the
Maria.
VOD will be here waiting for you when you awake. Um, about as strong as Hydro Gun from Saitama. Funny ass sentence. Appreciate
So
you.
that's probably all Sakamoto Days got a little bit of JJK power scaling. And like cool, Osaragi's back. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. This chapter was. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. This is like a pretty good Sakamoto Days chapter.
Okay, wait, another brilliant question. Could
Mm.
Dagon change his domain sure hit from Shikigami to making you drown? Obviously you wrote you wrote the manga. Come on, Broken Ronin.
Yeah. I mean, let me think. Um, who is
Drop the
this?
wheel,
Yeah, I
Floyd.
just I just read that. I just read that. Drop the wheel when the next wheel stream, Foyd. Drop the wheel, Foyd. Who are you? Fuck my Chud Light. Yeah, who are you? Holy shit. Um, God, that fried the fuck out of me. Foyd is crazy. In any case, um, what did you ask me? What does Dagon? Can Dagon change his sure hit? I don't know. Have we seen anybody change their sure hit? Like what it does? I don't know. That feels like a kind of like a decision. Once you make it, you're cooked.
That sounds like ironclad reasoning. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. It isn't because you wrote JJK. It's that ironclad reasoning you apply to your JJK analysis. That's why people ask you that question. So no, that was good. Yeah, when the fuck has somebody changed their sure hit? Like a lot of things have been altered about a domain, but Gojo never changed what his domain sure hit did. Neither did Sukuna. So like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, no, yeah, yeah, fuck.
Fuck. Um. Yeah. Damn. Compliment the man and get no response. What happened? Thank you, lethality. Appreciate that. I think. Um.
What's
When
crackin' lackin', my home skillet biscuit? Why you looking good this Sunday afternoon?
I feel like. Hold on, because I just didn't see that one. I was like, I feel like yo, she making up chats. What's happening? Um. Yeah. We have not. Domains are pretty set in stone. Hell yeah. When Demon agrees with you, you know you should feel like at least a bit more confident in your take. But yeah, no, Sakamoto Days was pretty whatever. Gege would write it so that Dagon could, so Loki he probably can. What? That's garbage reasoning, but I fuck. No. Honestly, Draco, I'm gonna incorporate that into rat tactics. Nah, Gege probably would have written it that way, so it's true. I fuck with that. Gojo
If
can't change
Kokichi
his
was gonna
shirt.
fight anybody else, Gege would have wrote Kokichi to win.
Hell yeah. Gojo can't change his shirt hit. Are we surprised? I fuck with you, Shadowstar. God, omniscient Mechamaru. One of my greatest pieces of work. Fuck. Sorry, I'm drinking tear in my eyes. Anyways, talking about a manga that I think we both fuck with more, and one that I caught up with recently, but Lethality caught up with even more recently, is good
Oh
old.
wait, when did you catch up with it? What the hell? You don't know that.
Yeah, I know that actually. I'm sure. Because you were still sending me panels of you reading through it when I was already caught up, so that's how I know.
Okay, I apologize for cutting you off.
No,
You
no,
didn't
no,
even say the manga
it's
name.
okay. At ease, at ease. It's okay. You're all right. Yeah, no. Yeah, Ichi the Witch, Ichi the Witch, Ichi the Witch. Demon's #1 manga, Draco's #1 manga. Um, Allegedly the best manga in Shonen Jump right now. Um, God, I'm actually, I've been really excited to hear your take about Ichi the Witch, specifically in how it pertains to the author and artist duo. Um, uh, I'm
What is that
actually
supposed to mean?
because you had said, um, hold on.
Hey Ronin and other person I don't know. Anyway, the fanfic is still going. Y'all fight Mahoraga.
Angel of X's, thank you for the 5. This is lethality.
But no, you didn't need to. You didn't need to point that out. That's fine. Like, you don't need to know who I am. I might not be here next week.
Type shit. And I'm glad. Who am I winning? Am I beating him? My #1 is Akane Banashi. What the fuck? Do you even know me? Not really, to be honest. And it's okay. I am here. Yeah, and you're late, Mozane. Fucking Cherry would have made it on time. Anyways, I like Ichi, but it's not Kagurabachi. Damn, so I lied on both y'all like that. That's crazy as hell. Angel Lexus, that's funny. But yeah, no, what I was referring to, lethality, is specifically you saying that Ichi the Witch could not have been, it had to have been written.
Don't quote me yet. Come on, talk about the fucking manga first. Don't quote me on that yet.
What? All right, that was an interesting thing to talk about, an interesting thing to discuss.
I know, but you didn't even talk about that. I haven't even shared my fucking thoughts on the manga, like full
sure,
sale.
I talked
like,
about,
by the way, let me just bring up a really charged statement.
No, okay, all right. You know what? Hey, you have the floor. Get into it.
Well, wait, no, I don't know your opinion on Ichi the Witch.
Come on, this can't. I can't. Everybody's got to know.
You said other people's opinions. You said you're like, oh, and you got their opinions wrong. You can at least give one right opinion. Your opinion. What did you what have you thought now that you've caught up on Ichi the Witch? You know,
Ichi the Witch is God. Everybody get to know my opinion first. Ronin's got to say his take first. Fuck. I like Ichi the Witch. It's cool. Ichi to me though has felt very it has felt like a very like comfy series in a lot of regards, and it's nice. And I see the broad appeal that it's had, because I think Ichi is doing like really well in terms of like sales and stuff like that, relative to like not having an anime and being a relatively new story. And I can see why. I feel I feel like I can see the appeal. I won't say it's necessarily the thing for me that's like jumping out and it feels like, oh man, this is an amazing manga with like an amazing cast, or really anything in particular that stands out as like a super strong element of the story. But I will say it feels pretty solid all around. It's just like I would hesitate to say that there's anything wrong with it. It just doesn't. It's just not, spectacular. It's not especially unique or strong in any particular way. Mean Creams argued about Ichi. He was being annoying about it. Mikey, what did he say? Also, you know what? Actually, I don't care about that. Mikey, what are your opinions? Yeah, the art's nice. I do like the art. The color pages, can I be honest? If I can be honest, a guy who can't color, the color pages are kind of whack. Can I be, if I may? They're kind of, like, the first one that we see is, like, really nice, and the volumes colors are nice, but I really don't like the approach that, Shiro Usazaki takes when it comes to, like, doing the official color pages. I don't think those are all that interesting. Yeah, it's a really solid 7 so far. I still need to catch up on a lot. Okay.
By color pages, do you just mean like the opening pages for certain chapters,
Yeah.
like not counting the volume covers?
Yeah.
Because like I like the volume covers. They're really like the few that are out. Is there even a few, or is it just a couple?
No, I think there should be like 3 or 4 volumes at this point.
Yeah, no, they look nice as like standalone illustrations, but I mean, I think I get a bit of the vibe with the opening pages, because sometimes it just looks like an imbalanced splash of color. Yeah, it just yeah, no, I'm not too huge of a fan of the like opening pages for certain chapters that are colored.
The insulting thing I would say is that it feels like an amateur Twitter colorist. Like that would probably be the most insulting way I can put it. Um, why would you put it in the most insulting way possible? I don't know. That's just like how my brain internalized it.
I don't know. I feel like it could have been worse. That wasn't that bad.
Let me show y'all real quick, chat, just so y'all know. This is like an example. This isn't even the worst one. This is an example though. Like I just don't really like care for this. It feels a little boring. I don't mind muted color palettes, but it doesn't even necessarily feel like muted in a normal respect. Um, yeah. What? I really like the color pages. They're so soft and pretty. Nah. Some of them are cool. Some of them are fine.
I don't hate
Um,
that one, but okay, that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the ones that are here, I'll just send one. I think I saved one.
oh god, yeah, this one too. This is one where I'm like, I think this one felt. I, it might just not be my aesthetic, right? However,
Yeah, the
if you,
ones that are opening pages that have dialogue. I didn't
yeah,
hate that one that you just put up though.
yeah,
Like
this one
with
I also
the
kind
with
of
the
like.
octopus magic. That seemed balanced, but that's just like a standalone illustration. Those
Oh
ones
yeah,
as
yep.
colored pages
We were
usually look pretty good.
we were thinking the same one. I put the second one you sent up there. Um, yeah, that and this Deskros is kind of iffy. Um, where's the
Yeah,
aura for
yeah,
me heads
yeah.
like me? There's not Deskros has aura, but there's not much aura. I mean, Ichi also has some level of aura, but yeah, I like how much the gradients pop. Yeah, I'm not moved. Personally speaking, I'm not all that moved. Um, yeah.
It looks
Um,
very pastel here and there, but not like fully committed to a pastel color palette. Um,
mhm.
yeah, I think there's just some kind of clash that's happening sometimes when they're doing the opening dialogue colored pages
Mhm.
that they don't have the same like good color balance of the volume covers. But like I don't know, whatever.
It's
Yeah,
not the end of the
and
world.
yeah,
It's just a thing I noticed.
yeah. It's just one thing, and they're not even. It's not even a bunch of it. I don't know. It's not like a fully colored manga or anything. I'd say like all throughout, it's a pretty like wordy manga. Like I definitely a few times reading it while catching up. Um, I would like open into a next chapter after I finished one,
Hmm.
and then I'm hit with like a wall of dialogue and text, and
Hmm.
I think it's like when I turn it on to read it, when I open my phone to read it, and then I
Hmm.
look at it, I'm like, fuck, okay, yeah, I gotta read.
Hmm.
A little more than usual, at least for like for a shonen manga. Um, it can be pretty fucking wordy, so I haven't really been even that crazy for the art that
Hmm.
much. It's just yeah, I don't know. I've been enjoying the story somewhat, but what did you give a totality opinion on it, or was that pretty much what you had to say?
Deskros is super fucking cool. Is it Tagashi wordy or Gege wordy? Neither. In my opinion, I'm surprised that you said that. To me, Ichi is like a pretty quick read. Um,
I think it's just more of a like looking at every because I had to read at least one chapter of each of these, like the
mhm,
list that you sent,
mhm,
to catch up,
mhm.
and each of them a first page minus world trigger. The
Yeah.
first page of every most recent chapter.
Mhm,
Um, yeah, it's world trigger and Ichi that usually I'm like, fuck, like I gotta like focus my eyes actually really
mhm,
quick. Um, like more than any of the other manga, I definitely have to zoom in on Ichi a lot
mhm,
just to read because sometimes the text box get really small. There's a lot of text even in the background. Like, it's cute. I do like it.
mhm,
Um, I'd really love to get the volumes for this definitely because there's so many points where it's like, oh, if I didn't zoom in to check what the fuck that said, I wouldn't get that cute little character interaction
mhm.
or something. You
Yeah.
know? So yeah, not like wordy, like they're explaining too much this or that, but
Mhm.
just fuck, I don't know.
There's a lot of back and forth, which is like
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. There's a lot of back and forth. Yeah, it all lends to the story. It's not like unnecessary explanations of the magic system or some shit like seemingly,
Yeah.
But
That
but no, it is just kind of it is a lot of reading
that's
compared to
that.
everything else. Not generally speaking. What's on the
Yeah.
list here?
That might be, that might be, I consider it a quick read just because it does feel like most of the like of the speech is dialogue between characters, not explanation of things. I have a weakness for like long explanations unless I become endeared to the manga. Like I like long explanations in JJK. I fuck with it. I think it's nice, but like I'm endeared to the manga. It can just get away with shit, right? Um, I feel like Ichi maybe wordy because I'm looking at it. I'm like, damn, they do be talking a lot. But I feel like the reason it maybe didn't register as like a particularly wordy manga is just because I like the interactions between the characters. It feels as if they're like having a conversation um, in a way that's like interesting or even like slightly humorous in some respects, and yada yada. And that's one thing I will say positively. Aside from like the visual aspect of Ichi, like Ichi himself is an interesting and cool protagonist. I think Descaros is like a really cool side character. And I will say that the interactions between characters bounce in a way that's nice. It is like a relatively funny manga. I've said historically, in fact, I don't think battle shonen authors are as funny as their amount of dialogue. Um, as the like, okay, I'll put it like this: battle shonen authors put in too many jokes for how funny they are. Right? They overplay their comedic ability, in my opinion, a lot of times. Ichi is not really like that. It's kind of like, nah, they put in a lot, but they're also like pretty good about that. In what it does not have hype moments and aura like that, in my opinion. Descartes is kind of the only character that really gets that. Ichi a little bit, some sprinkles. But I will say it is like a cute, fun to read story. Demon said she has it like a 6 or at a 7. I have it about like a 6 out of 10, maybe like a 6.5. Like it's a fun read. It's just nothing especially it doesn't stand out to me. It doesn't jump out at me and like fucking grab my attention or anything like that.
How do I start a sentence? Yeah. Okay, wait. Yes. So also just me saying it was wordy too, less of a, because that immediately definitely felt like it got taken a certain way. And like, oh, like wordy like this or wordy like that. Like in no way did I consider it a negative. Because yeah, it is mostly dialogue. That's what it is. It's like a lot of characters talking back and forth, like heavily. Someone said gay wordy. Was that Demon? Demon said gay wordy. I wouldn't even say that. It's like I feel like there's more dialogue exchange that happens in Ichi the Witch than in JJK. Um, it's just wordy in the sense that that was just a thought that I had. Like normally when I'm reading manga, a thought that I always have, um, is like comparing the experience to any kind of Western comic because usually, and like I don't know if this is like there's maybe even like a dialogue or character count that can be lost in translation.
Mm-hmm.
But comparing a fucking Spider-Man comic to Ichi the Witch, there's just a lot more text per page than a shonen manga. And and there's some manga that definitely do have a lot more, but just in shonen specifically, I'm not usually I'll look at this and I'm like, this is a weekly read, and I'm surprised by the character count on screen, each page that I look at. It's not a bad thing. It's just that that's normally what's happening. I'll open up a manga, I'm gonna read it, and Ichi the Witch definitely felt like one that I was like, oh shit, I'm surprised by that. There's like a casual level of reading a shonen manga. I'm like, it's just the new chapter of the week. Like, how much dialogue can there be? And Ichi the Witch is fucking packed. But it's good. Yeah, I like it. I like the character interactions. I like the way people talk to each other. It's fun. It's good. It's not bad in any way. It's just yeah, don't. This ain't something you can look at the leaks and get an idea of what's happening, and you shouldn't be doing that to begin with. But like, definitely can't happen here. There's just way too much information to take in, so it's not as casual a read as like, I mean, Kagurabachi, just because it's a more exposition chapter recently, doesn't count. But like a general action chapter out of Kagurabachi, even an action chapter in Ichi, is still very text heavy. So, but it's cool. It's not a negative in any way. Just don't be lazy. That's it. Yeah, I usually open, a shonen chapter, and I'm like, I'm gonna do the lazy read, but I can't with Ichi. But I've enjoyed that. It's been nice.
Nice, nice, nice. Does a number score come to mind, or are you beyond such things?
Should I be? Do I sound like the kind of person that would be beyond that?
Do you want my honest opinion, or do you want me to like keep things moving? Messing with you. I don't know. You tell me, right? Do you have a number score in mind? If not, it's cool. Thumbs up or thumbs down, lethality. How do you feel?
I'd say thumbs up.
Okay, cool. You would let this survive verticality?
What?
Verticality jump? Verticality magazine? This
Oh,
would
that's
this
nuts.
this would
Haha,
survive?
yeah, you got me. That's no, don't bring that up.
Alright.
Shut up.
My bad. My bad. Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, nice. Dope. Um, let's see. Type. Got really
That's
good
it.
around
Yeah,
the chapter
there we go.
50, 60
Is
mark.
Ichi a good read? Is it worth it? That's a good question. I'd
Um,
say 8 out of 10. If you're gay, queer, or a woman, you should read it. I think you'd enjoy it.
and I mean, statistically speaking, that's got to be some of the people here.
A
Let's
higher
see.
percentage than an average, control group of people.
Yeah, thoughts on the last arc of Ichi? I'll be real. It's cool. The last arc didn't like shake me to my core, but I thought it was nice. It feels like it kind of goes through the appropriate, the appropriate beats. Hop off, Draco, dude, Mikey. That means a lot to me, man. Thank you. Okay. In any case, yeah, no, those are my. So straight niggas shouldn't read Ichi the Witch. I read Ichi the Witch, by the way. Hello, Mozane, your representation here. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I think if you don't have something on your list right now that you want to read instead, Ichi the Witch is not a bad read. Don't expect hype moments in Aura. It's a fun series though, right? I almost said as the straight rep. That would have been crazy. My fault. Yeah. So those are my thoughts.
Why did I say that? Lethality. Why did you say that? Why did you say specifically that? You think men can't read it?
I was
Do I?
Lethality, you have some interesting opinions on Ichi demographically, right? In terms of not only like who can read it, but who wrote it and who it would have been possible. Like it could only have been written in this specific set of circumstances. Do you want to get into that? Do you want to like drop your take?
Maybe a little, yeah. So, because I was thinking about it, I said a relatively, well, not relatively, seemingly, in your reaction, a kind of inflammatory thing about Ichi the Witch. After reading, like, no more than like 5 chapters, an immediate thought I had was like, there's no way a man wrote this, right? I saw the author's name was Osamu Nishi. I'm assuming I don't know. Demon, if you're here, I know you're better at being clear on that. I don't know if Osamu is the surname or the given name. I'm guessing it's the surname, the family name, because I just relate the name Osamu as a masculine name because of a World Trigger character. But if that's the family name, then it doesn't matter. But when I first saw that, I'm like, oh wait, so is the author a man? Because that was confusing. I genuinely thought a man couldn't write this, and I said that to you, and I don't know, you looked like you wanted to punch me.
No. That's not what I looked like. The reason was just like why I haven't, but man, right? So maybe my blinders are on, right? But Osamu is the given name, is what Demon said.
So is Osamu gender neutral then? Damn. Like, as like I don't know. I looked it up. It could be wrong. But the good old search engine told me that the author was a woman.
Yeah. No, I mean, she is, right? This is the first woman duo in Jump, right? That was like a pretty big thing. I
didn't even know that. That's tight. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so my reaction that I had when you said that wasn't like a it wasn't like a what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't like a why do you say that? How dare you? It was more of like a actually why, like what about the manga gives you that opinion? And then you were like, hush, we must save it for stream. And so like I'm kind of curious, right? Like what about Ichi's like only only a woman could have written this, you know? I'm curious.
Sorry, just a moment. I'm looking up Aruma-kun because
No, you're good.
Shadowstar mentioned it.
BR, you are so sick. What'd I do?
Have you read it, Aruma-kun?
Aruma-kun? No. One of the people, you know that the pod I was on a little while back, one of them is like a big
Yeah.
fan, recommended that to me, but I haven't gotten to it. Yeah, no. It's like 400 chapters though, so I'm not in a huge rush. Chad, I
Right.
read
Okay.
this.
Yeah. No. What? And it's not like it's a fucking necessary thing. You judge a fucking work on its own. But
Yeah.
like, anyways, um, yeah. So I also mostly just said it because I'm like I wasn't too sure. That was just like a very impulse thought that I had.
Mhm.
It's typically a masculine name, but it's also common for mangaka to use pseudonyms, and this can involve female mangaka using male or gender neutral names. Okay, I'm gonna go with it was just gender neutral, so that's fine, and that's cool then. I like that name. But yeah, so the thought happened, and I wasn't too sure where the thought came from. I've come to a bit of a conclusion on it, and like my feeling of where that came from. The thought was like I would be really surprised. Like the first thought would be if it was a man, because that's what I thought. I read Osamu, thought it was a man, and it's like if that's a man, that's like a queer man at least, um, because I just don't see a world where a straight man um would be driven to write this story, especially to the level that it is, because I think it's well done. You know, it's like I don't know the premise on its own. It's like if a straight man had to write it, it's like they're being made to write it. It's like, hey, we got an idea. You've got to write this. You're one of our good writers. It's not going to come out like this well. Um, you know, each story, each pitch, especially in like Shonen Jump and in a lot of manga, is coming from the author and what they want to write. And I just don't see a man wanting to write this story. Um, yeah, I don't think there's much of an argument like for the opposite. Um, but another thought I had stepping from that was like, by the time I caught up to this, I thought of it as power fantasy slop, technically. Um, it's like don't take offense to this, you know, developed by Toriyama, um, young man in front of me, um, in the way that like Dragon Ball is power fantasy slop, but it feels like if there is two extremes on a spectrum of like what is masculine power fantasy slop, that's Dragon Ball Z, and then what is effeminate, you know, power fantasy slop, and that would be Ichi the Witch, which I don't think there's a lot of good examples of, especially in shonen manga. It's mostly written for boys. You know, it's just like this gets to slide under the radar either because there's a desire to, you know, expand the general audience of Shonen Jump, or because it met enough of the requirements. The main character is a boy. It's like it is the world and the premise for it is the perfect setup for that sort of like, oh, how hard it is to be me, you know, which isn't even Ichi's perspective on the world, but you hear that in a world where like only women can be witches, this boy, our main character, becomes one. And it's like, hell yeah. There's the desire to be a victim, kind of in that breaks free. So there's like this little bait of a power fantasy that's kind of similar to just any other, you know, power fantasy slop on the masculine side of the spectrum for being stronger in spite of what's around you. Um, but where I feel like Ichi the Witch takes it and has felt like, because I felt this like from the first chapter, but it's just reinforced at this point being caught up, that it's like if on the far end of the spectrum for the effeminate power fantasy, it is the desire to be surrounded by people that are emotionally mature. It's not just to be like the strongest emotionally mature person, because that doesn't really get you anywhere. The desire is to have everybody else around you be just as emotionally aware. And that is happening constantly in Ichi the Witch. Everybody is fully aware of, how they feel and their insecurities, and they're so sure of the way things should be, with regards to things like being a parent and loving people. It's like these are like universal understandings that the only things that contradict it in the story are the magics, the monsters of the world, the cursed spirits, the hollows, whatever. They're the only things that really go against it. There isn't really a lot of human characters that aren't being influenced by a magic that don't understand, their own emotional awareness and the emotional awareness of people around them. And I feel like that's the extreme end on a gender-based power fantasy slop spectrum. Is the most effeminate side of it is wishing everybody was emotionally mature with you, whereas the hyper masculine side of the spectrum is wanting to be the strongest. Is that power fantasy? Because like there isn't much fantasy in the wanting to be the strongest. It's not like you can the further fantasy isn't being able to share that strength with everybody, because it's like no, it's like I want to be the strongest. You can't just like divvy up the strength to other people and then everybody's really strong. What benefit is that for you? You want to be the strongest. You want to be the most powerful. But then being the most emotionally aware doesn't get you anywhere either on the other side of the spectrum. It only matters if everybody's also really emotionally aware. And I think Ichi creates a very good world in that way. Well, not good. It's well done. But I don't think that's like an ideal world or something. But it is a power fantasy world, for people who have that power fantasy. That's how I've been reading Ichi the Witch, and it's been nice. It's like you don't see a power fantasy on that end, on the other end of the spectrum, very often. So it's cool to get it.
That's interesting. Let's see. Let's see. Now I'm.
Yeah,
now
sorry,
I'm
I
feeling,
talked a lot there.
you don't need to apologize. Yeah, that's what we're here for. You're here to talk and stuff, right? Let's see though. That is interesting. The power fantasy is not just being strong and emotionally aware. It's everybody having that and being aware.
Yeah, because what's the point if everybody's just as strong as you? That's one end of the spectrum. But then what's the point of being the most emotionally aware? The power fantasy only comes from the two realities that can't exist. It's like I wouldn't raise a kid and only have them watch Dragon Ball Super. I would never do, like, that's all you're allowed to watch, son, is Dragon Ball Super.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like not because that's the lessons it's instilling, but it's like what they would enjoy out of it is like, yeah, I want to be the strongest. I want to be stronger than everybody around me, because those guys look really cool. The ones who are the strongest, hell yeah. But then Ichi the Witch, I also wouldn't want somebody to grow up with only if there was like a full Ichi the Witch manga, right? I mean anime. I wouldn't raise a kid on that alone either, because it's like, wow, is that what the world's like? Fuck no. Like other people are nowhere near as emotionally aware at that level of emotional awareness. The level that everybody is in Ichi the Witch, all the humans at least, is not as common as you would like it to be, and it would leave you unprepared to interact with other people. It's like you would be really weird for beating up everybody that you come across, and you would also be really weird for thinking everybody you come across is as emotionally aware as you. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know if I necessarily have like a particularly nuanced response to that. I was going to say, kind of joking, kind of not in response. I'm like, and that's why Naruto's the perfect series, guys. Reread it and get yourself re-inundated. But yeah, that's very interesting. Chat seems to be fucking with what you're putting down. I will definitely say.
Wait, no, I like this. I kind of think we just inject in what you believe on Ichi. Your argument feels forced a bit. My brother was calling Luffy non-binary because he believed in this new Speak?
in this
Oh, are
new
you okay?
speak.
I don't know what you mean by new speak, because that's
Yeah,
okay. I don't know how to engage with that.
yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay. Injecting what I believe onto Ichi. Sure, that's what everybody does. You can do the same, man. Like drop in a chat right now. You know what your feelings on Ichi are. I didn't really say anything. Like, what do you? Okay, first off, what do you mean by new speak? Right, that's it. How do you feel about Ichi, and what do you mean by new speak, bro?
Yeah, two interesting
Fuck.
questions. W response running, yeah. No, I mean, I'll say, engaging with your point, not like a gremlin, but like a fellow human being, right? Um, I can definitely say that Ichi does take a lot of like differing approaches, to what's sort of looking for just how the characters are written, how they interact. I mean, women in the story are much more front and center than you're going to see in pretty much any other shonen modern, or old. It's not to say it's the only, but it definitely is, a stand on that respect. I do feel though that, certain stories that come to mind do feel like they have an element of the shonen power fantasy being critiqued, or, or augmented in some respect, that does kind of play to what you're talking about. Not really in you're wrong because, or like I think in addition to sort of sentiment. That's why I jokingly bring up Naruto, um, but not so jokingly. Like Kishimoto, for all of his flaws in being able to write women, which definitely disqualifies him from the total, Ichi the Witch package, does I think take an approach on writing characters winning and victory and things like that as like, conversations of like, and discussions of like the heart of the soul of like whatever, getting into that of like differing circumstances, and trying to understand each other. And maybe it does it in like a way that feels rudimentary just because it's so ubiquitous throughout, anime and manga or whatever. But there are other stories that I do feel like have a bit of a softer touch, to like the pursuit of power or the pursuit of like greatness in some respect. Like, yeah, here's how I'll build on it, right? If Because I don't even know if Dragon Ball to me feels like the example that you give, um out of like the
Okay,
stereotype. Which may, wait, hold on, hold on,
don't take any of the.
I'm
I know,
not,
I
I'm not, I'm
know.
not, I'm not, I'm not.
Blah, blah, blah. One, I forgot to say it this way.
Okay.
Don't even take what I said about Dragon Ball seriously. Just take it as just any overpowered protect. Fucking, I should have
I
said solo leveling.
listen.
Right? It's like that's the extreme of it,
Yeah.
and it's not that I'm saying this is the only thing within Ichi the Witch comparing it to other things. It's
Mm.
like it's the major underlying thing that that I'm seeing and getting out of it, and I'm enjoying it. It's like there is these shows of like strength in power fantasy, but I think the greater enjoyment and power fantasy within the story
Mm.
is that there isn't even like at least even in Naruto there's a there are moments of people trying to understand each other and
Mm.
conflict coming from a lack of understanding between two human beings,
Mm.
and then a resolution being met from that conflict. There is not really any conflict between two human beings in the entirety of Ichi the Witch. That's kind of like the takeaway from it. That's the power fantasy. That's the everybody is just every other human being is just as emotionally aware as me, and it doesn't require conflict to figure that out. Like the most recent arc, the thing of two people understanding each other was a human and a magic,
Mm.
understanding why they love each other, why they, fucking they fucked, right? Like
Mm.
like we get to see them and the conflict of their relationship reach like an end and a emotional climax or whatever. But that something like that doesn't happen between two humans in Ichi the Witch. You don't got to deal with that in Ichi the Witch. You don't got to deal with two people butting heads. And if anybody does have an actual conflict, it gets shooed to the side, like the one chick's older sister.
Mm.
It's like that could have that I was a little excited because I felt like up to that point there wasn't really any two characters having major conflict with each other that weren't
Mm.
a human and a magic. And I'm like, oh, these two sisters, there's two humans with a conflict, and it got blasted through pretty quick in a funny way. I
Mm.
liked the I'm not into you,
Mm.
you're not my type. But that kind of just like the bit of oh, you know, I'm the reason that my older sister lost an eye.
Mm-hmm.
That felt like really good conflict because it's like, oh, yeah, you fucked up and made a mistake, and she's taking advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
There could be room, you know, for nuance to say, do you get to tell her though? Do you get to tell her off in her recommending herself to be better with Ichi?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to worry about that conflict because she's like, you actually got your eye healed, so you're just doing it for sympathy. So it's like, okay, one, she isn't even permanently damaged, and she's actually pretending to be hurt. So she gets framed as more obviously, overtly the bad person in the situation, and we don't got to worry about the conflict anymore. It's over. Now we can move on with the rest of the story. That's like the biggest human to human conflict, and that's what feels like a power fantasy for me. I get to open Ichi the Witch every week, and I don't got to worry about two humans arguing, you know? Whereas I got to open Kagurabachi, it's like, fuck, how are they going to convince Soga not to be Hitler? Like,
Do you not feel like Descarus and can't remember Ice Queen, that doesn't like it's sort of is that the blast pasted part for you?
Yeah, it's blasted past as well because they're basically just, you know, like sisters of equivalent age, you know, or at least close in age. Like they just behave like siblings that are, you know, of different methods. But yeah, like that's presented as a conflict. Like, oh, you are brutish, Des, and I am all prim and proper. They'd still team up, you know. That there's a big enough thing to unite over to unite, you know, for to fight back against that their conflict doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, now it's just a small quirk between them. Like, oh, grr, you're so prim and proper, and I like to eat snacks. That's not like actual human conflict.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that definitely, you know, counters the Naruto point. Descarus and Ice Queen are Yuri bait. Like, come on. Are they girls
Yeah.
kissing
So like
Ichi?
one I have a greater context for Ichi being like a lot more sibling based. There's not like a lot of romance tension in the story, but like sure, yeah. For the lesbians at home that want to read Ichi the Witch and one enjoy the emotional power fantasy of it and not have to worry about the stress of human conflict, like cool, there's two very contrasting, you know, powerful women for you to draw fan art of, you know, like have fun with that. Um so yeah.
Type.
Who's the guest? Is it the chick who made that gay misogynists rant vid?
No.
Wait, I think that's Esper,
Yes,
right?
it
I
is,
haven't
yes.
looked at her channel in forever. She's
Yes.
great.
I can't say I've ever watched her videos. I do know someone that hated them. Hold on. Let me hold on. I do know
Oh, I
someone.
do too. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know someone that hated them, and definitely, you know, definitely said that. But no, I've never interacted with her before. I think I may have once on Twitter, and I think I disagreed with her, and that interaction didn't like go particularly well. But like aside from that, I don't like actually know her as a person now. Let's see.
Lesbians at home, so LARPing homosexuality. What do you mean by that, bro?
What is that? Yeah,
Like,
what does
wait,
that mean?
do you think I meant like it's like, oh, women who pretend to be lesbians at home? No, I meant lesbians at home
Like
reading Ichi the
watching
Witch.
this.
The fuck? Like, I'm like I saw the other guy say like, oh, something about fucking 1984. It's
Oh.
like, bro, like you're looking too deep into what I'm saying. Like, chill the fuck out.
Yeah. This is a fascinating take from lethality, but I'm so damn tired to, or I'm too damn tired to engage with it meaningfully beyond. Yo, that's so interesting. Say more. Hell yeah.
Nyota, it's okay, bro. Like, you know, you can take a nap and the VOD will be here. No biggie.
Type shit. Type shit. I don't think there's going to be a plot in Ichi where where ancient man misogyny king tortures the narrative. You don't think so? Let's see. It's a joke.
Yeah,
I'm
any
just
conflict.
funny.
That's it. Yeah, it's like Rising of the Shield Hero. It's like everything is set up for this, like, you know, powerful guy to be the savior of people who don't fucking deserve it,
Uh-huh.
or whatever, you
Mhm.
know. And it's like Ichi the Witch is like, hey, like yeah, you go to Shield Hero because you just want to like internally cry about feeling like a victim because a girl rejected you at some point, you know, like that Shield Hero, you can go there and feel good about yourself. Ichi the Witch, you can go to it and not have to worry about two humans arguing,
Mhm.
and you can just relax and read and watch like a fun powers going off and shooting each other and cute characters interacting.
Mhm.
Like I put it as that. I put it as just um our fantasy has negative connotation, and I think it's more like it's a very potato chip kind of story. It's not doing anything compelling, and I don't think it's trying to.
Mhm.
It's just it's a comfortable environment to
Mhm.
be in. You know, in the same way that it's comfortable to just sit back and watch Solo Leveling. You know,
Yeah. What up, Johnny? How you living? Ichi's so funny because like the witches don't really give him special treatment generally. Ouch. Let's see. Yeah. Let me look at this real quick. What did I?
Shield Hero frowny face. I know, right? I fucking hate Shield Hero, man.
Okay, let's go through. Okay, so we've talked about Ichi. We've talked about Sakamoto.
Oh, what
Um,
up next, right? That was Kagurabachi, but you know, you already unless you want to just hit some notes on that at all.
yeah, there were no unfortunately there was no chapter this week, chat. Now I don't know if y'all have gotten the chance to hear. You've heard me talk about Kagurabachi every week. I don't know if y'all have gotten the chance to hear about Lethality's thoughts on Kagurabachi.
I mean, I don't even know if I have thoughts. Fuck.
No, you be having thoughts and shit. You be having thoughts and shit.
Remind me.
I'll warm up the crowd. Um, so and then you'll knock them dead or whatever. Let's see. I'll focus my conversation. Why did I just go to Ichi the Witch on instinct? Oh, because there's no Kagurabachi. Hold on, I gotta go through my secondary sources. Give me 1 second, chat room. Chat. Let me ask
Oh
you
wait,
this. Go.
last funny thing about Ichi,
Uh-huh.
just because it had to do with the most recent chapter that came out.
Uh-huh.
Um, a another like note of because this is just me being sexist, by the way, flat out.
Okay.
Like that, the inflammatory comment was inflammatory. The first thing, like I don't think a man could have wrote this. That is me being sexist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and whatever, that's my prerogative.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels reinforced by the most recent chapter because I can't imagine a single fucking male mangaka
Mm-hmm.
um putting a chapter out where a baby is born
Mm-hmm.
and they don't look like uh a fucking like a 1 year old with like a cute little tuft of hair and they've got like little blush cheeks and it's just like a perfect baby. Ichi the Witch, first comic I've ever seen where the baby, they even like pointed out, it's like, aw, you're like a wrinkly little, yeah, babies look ugly as shit, bro. Like, so it's just, it's like a funny, it's a, it's a very funny placement of like a realistic thing in you know this hyper fantasy manga, but it's like there's sexist lethality. You can tag me on that. Um, being like, yeah, a man couldn't have wrote that. A man wouldn't. Yeah.
Horikoshi drew ugly babies first. You heard it here first, chat.
Who wrote who did that? Who?
Horikoshi said he drew ugly babies first.
Oh, I
Um,
guess maybe. Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't.
I don't know if
You know
that
me.
makes
I did
sense.
not read My Hero. You know that.
Yeah, yeah. She don't. Fuck yeah, you got some interesting My Hero opinions, but we'll table that, right? Maybe another stream. Have you guys discussed Blue Lock yet? No, not at all. Um, let's see. Um, we need to talk about Monster Hunter BR. So
Who said that?
Kagurabachi,
What? No. Yeah. No. Yeah.
guys,
Kagurabachi. Yeah. Say it again.
yeah, no being should ever be created anyway. What in the? Okay,
That's okay. That's an opinion. Anti-natalism is a thing. That's fine.
yeah, plenty of opinions exist for sure.
For
Um,
real.
yeah, I want to hear the MHA thoughts. No, you don't. We're moving past it, genuinely.
Mikey, you
No,
should text me, please. I'd love to talk about MHA with you.
no, don't. Text her about something else, bro. I want y'all to have a friendship. That's not the way to do it. Um, and don't talk to her about Naruto either. That won't make you happy. Um, What do y'all both fuck with Ichi? Talk about Ichi. That's what I recommend. In any case, chat. Here's my question. I was gonna ask y'all. How, and we're only like 3 chapters in or something like that. How do y'all feel so far about Kagurabachi Part 2 colon time skip backwards?
We not only have 2 chapters.
3. We got 3.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
fuck. Fuck.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm just curious what the running thoughts are. Was there anything you remember for 16 months? Speak on Punk Gun. We'll speak on Punk Gun in a bit,
Punk
bro.
Gun.
Damn, I forgot the thing was gonna say that. Yeah.
We will.
We'll
I
speak on
think
Punk
that's
Gun. Yeah, yeah. We'll speak on Punk Gun when we get to manga that are not dropping on Sundays, but we still got shit to talk about. All right, that's cool. As long as she doesn't slander Tobirama, it shouldn't be any issue. I don't think she'd fuck with Tobirama again. I think she thinks Naruto should. Let me not put that evil on you. My fault. My fault. I retract that statement. Legally, she hasn't said that yet. In any case, I'm curious, what the thoughts are. Seitei War has the setup necessary to be Kagurabachi's best arc. Kagura Part 2 is awesome. I'm excited for it. Let's see. Let's see. What do I think about it so far? Honestly, just like regular thoughts, to be honest with you. Yeah. Oh, lethality. I'll ask you a specified question to help you warm up your thoughts, right? You were really, really happy about the most recent chapter, chapter 115, because it got into a lot of like, smithing and forging, verbiage. And as a swordsmith yourself, you said you had like a lot to speak on. Did you wanna kind of like jump into that here?
I don't like that title being put on me.
Oh, okay. As a metallurgist, as a metal worker.
As an aspiring author, I have a multitude of interests
Okay.
there.
Sure.
One of those interests being, metallurgy and the act of forging. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, did you want to kind of talk about like what about that was like so interesting to you? Did you want to let chat know? Speak on it, speak your truth, because I don't have that expertise, right?
That's okay. I'd rather feel the warm up like a collective, retelling on your whole feelings. Like we're 3 chapters in. Now that it's had time to sink in, like I'd prefer it if I could hear your take on Kagurabachi in totality. Yeah, that'd be cool actually. And then I might feel comfortable talking about the most recent chapter.
Man, that's a lot of pressure. Okay. Let's see. So far, I feel like every chapter has just been like, vaguely interesting. I am. What am I looking for? What am I looking for specifically? Metallurgist sounds like an insane slur. What? Whatever. Put that to the side. I like it, but the arc barely started. I'm still waiting to see what the arc heading narratively and structurally. That's kind of where I'm feeling, to be honest with you, which may be like a boring answer for Mr. Streamer Man to say. But it does feel like it could be quite a long arc. Am I saying it could be quite a long arc? Like I feel like we're not going to see a super duper extended cut of like the past. I feel like it's going to be a bit more brief than people are giving it credit for. But that's just like an instinct. It just feels like Hokuzono is the type of author to go in that direction. But yeah. Wow, lethality is so much cooler than anyone you've collabed with so far. I've had like Mikey and Johnny up here too, right? We're talking similar levels of coolness. Come on, show.
I like Mikey and Johnny a lot. I think they're very cool.
Type shit. I really enjoy the politics. I'm super duper Tagashi pilled, so I'm seated for sure. The political aspect of Kagurabachi thus far to me is quite basic, I guess. Even if it's even like a super present element, like there is some level of like politicking and just like political back and forth being done here, but it's not something that's so overt or focused on or special or intricate that it makes me feel like one way particularly or the other. It's not like bad, like oh my god this is boring, nor is it like a particularly like riveting piece of thing. Yeah, I'm a genius. Nor is it a particularly like riveting aspect of the story thus far. I feel much of what that chatter said earlier, we're just getting like the foundations laid. I'll speak to like my kind of favorite parts or like my worries and concerns as we go through. Um, let's see. Firstly, I'm curious, like, and Hokuzono could just be setting this up as like a complete subversion, right? But it does feel, it's like, are we making? I guess maybe this is like is setting up to be like a resource, kind of war. I'm like skimming through chapter 113 again just to get the gist of it because some of it left my mind. Um, and I'm kind of curious to see how Hokuzono decides to characterize not only the royal family that Soga and what's her face and Chiaki is a part of, right? But also how the opposing forces, the Daten Seki wielders, are going to be characterized. I feel like there's a bit of I don't want to come out of this thinking, damn, bro, shit, they were mad evil, Soga, good shit, right? And I think it's like a pretty easy thing to avoid. But you don't always gotta wonder. You don't always gotta wonder, but you always, I always kind of keep a little bit of like a, sometimes an author you really like hits you with a, you're gonna set us 30 years back, and you just gotta be prepared for that. In my opinion. You can tell Bachi's target audience is teens. Caution Glazer, that is like 99% of every Shonen Jump manga. Yeah, it is at it is very like baseline level interest to me at this point. Nothing has like stood out, jumped out at me in one way or the other. But I'm having a good time. Consecutive like 6 out of 10 chapters. Hokuzono move me, Hokuzono whatever. I'll pair it to you a concern or rather like a bit of like hesitation that I had when we were going into part 2, because I'd had this conversation with Dreams a little bit, and it was just like, oh, how do you feel going into the next section of the story? Kagurabachi has been generally very good and enjoyable up to this point. Are you excited? And to that, the simple answer is just yes, I am very excited. And do you expect it to be like as good on this go around, as part 2 and it is part 1? And I will just say that, and this is actually a direct question, so once I get my response, lock in. I will say my personal sentiment is that writing a story's introduction, setting things up, building up to certain elements of like a narrative, while it is part of writing as a skill, is a different skill or a different like subset of a skill than continuing a narrative or following through on your setup or yada yada yada, right? It's different than like the payoff. It's a different aspect of like an overarching umbrella skill. I will say that Hokuzono to me, not in like he's failed, but he hasn't shown what his larger overarching payoffs look like. He's shown me he can write really good arc villains, right? He can write a good Sojo, a great Sojo. He can write a really good Kiora. Samura, a little bit, not really a villain in that way. A bit of an antagonist. A lot of people liked him as like their favorite antagonist of the story. That wasn't really how I came away with it. But generally, he's able to write these characters pretty well. To me,
I say there's 2 Samuras at least. There's like the Samura that felt completely like fuck. There's no way to escape this motherfucker. And then there was like, wait, we might get him on our side. I think that's 2 separate Samuras. So like if you're looking at like arc antagonists, I think it's maybe just like that first half of Samura is what people are mostly referencing.
And that's fair. I think Samura was intimidating. I just don't know if he moved me to the same extent that even Kiora was able to in his final like moments or whatever of the story. But I think with like the more overarching ideas, Hokuzono has yet to show me what's what I'm looking for. He's yet to show me he's made of the same minerals, right? And it's not like it's more of it's like when you're asking the question of like, oh, do you think it's going to be just as good in the second part as the first part? I kind of hesitate and I'm like, oh, I kind of gotta wait and see. My expectations are pretty neutral until Hokuzono gives me a reason to move one way or the other. There are some things, writing style wise, that I feel like are, um, they're interesting, and I'm curious to see if they impede on further, aspects of like the overarching story, in the way that I imagine, that I'm kind of like just waiting for and checking out. But I'm curious, like when it comes to Kagurabachi Part Two, assuming this is just like the second part in the just the latter half of the manga. How are you feeling about it, expectation wise, or anything going into that?
Mm, um, I would say I think if the next chapter um isn't full of action, and I would be like a bit worried because like you kind of phrased it like that, like a bit of a possible concern or whatever. I'll get like a possible concern if there isn't something fast paced happening next chapter, because I feel like Hokuzono has pretty much gotten away with um a very like narrative dialogue very dialogue driven narrative for the past few chapters, like the start of it, and that's allowed because it's not like a real part two. Like Fujimoto wouldn't have been allowed for Chainsaw Man Part 2 Chapter 1 to go at the pace that this has, because it was published somewhere else. There was a long wait in between, and it was clearly intended to be treated as like a connected but separate story in the way that you're not supposed to make a sequel to a movie
Hmm.
that cannot be watched unless you've seen the first one. You can technically do that with Chainsaw Man Part 2. It's very like cinema inspired in that way, in the way it's like broken up, is that you can engage with it on its own and you don't need to have read Chainsaw Man Part 1.
Hmm.
Kagurabachi, that's not the case here. I think it's very like if there's like a cinema comparison,
Hmm.
Kagurabachi's Part 2 is like, it's like Kill Bill Volume 2,
Hmm.
It's like you really, no, you can't watch Kill Bill Volume 2
Hmm.
without watching Volume 1. And that's pretty clear because there wasn't like a huge break, once we got the end of it. And it's like, whoa, part two's coming. It feels like a false part two. I think that was kind of a way to keep the engagement high, because I think somebody, like Alfredo was like, do you think a story would be better with a faster setup or a longer slow burn beginning and follow through? I don't think that's a very necessary question for this genre of story. This is Shonen Jump. This is weekly manga. Like, um, slow burn stuff isn't really, it just isn't allowed to live.
Hmm.
Um, it's like the bare minimum level of pacing required to avoid getting axed. At least until you have like an anime confirmed, and like even then, is that even like completely fucking guaranteed? It's not really it's not as simple as that. It's like these authors have to keep up a certain level of pacing, and yeah, you don't really get to like hope for a slow, but you can hope for like a subplot to have a slow burn to it. Will Hakuri and Shihiro have sex? There's your slow burn. Like, we may never know.
Hmm.
Or it may take forever to find out. But everything else, like what's gonna happen to Soga, what's gonna happen to Chihiro, what's gonna happen to the Enchanted Blades, that needs to be, basically chased.
Hmm.
So yeah, like slow burn isn't really a question here. Um, and that's why I said like, oh, if the next chapter isn't action packed, then I'd be like a little worried. Um, because we ended part one with a pretty predictable setup.
Hmm.
Like we kind of as soon as Soga showed up entirely, it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, it's a wrap.
Hmm.
um there wasn't like too much question of that. So it ended cool, it ended flashy. But it wasn't like there wasn't a lot of narrative tension, and the claiming it was the end of part 1 was a good way to keep that kind of that tension there. It's like, "Oh, it's okay that the tension went down because we're about to go into a completely separate, all new, action-packed arc, a flashback arc." And that's like a very, that's a good convenient tool to use as an author. If you had to end like a big arc on something that didn't feel like it had a huge, gut punch to it, we'll just keep it moving. Chainsaw Man Part 1 could not have ended like Kagurabachi Part 1. Like the level of climax is not comparable. So yeah. That's the only real concern I have. The expectation I have is just, yeah, this speeds up, and this isn't like a massive arc. This Seitei War arc, I'm hoping for it to be short, because I'm not too huge on like just flashbacks in general. I don't know. I'm not too huge on like a flashback arc. I don't think it needs more than like this could be done with 5 more chapters. That'd be cool. If it goes longer than that, I'll feel a bit like Hokuzono is starting to drag his feet a little bit, maybe getting a bit more comfortable, and it's like, and I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Hokuzono has been doing a good job of keeping up the fast pacing that's expected. It's not just like a desire of readers, like it's an executive function of the company. Like so yeah, check in with me next week.
Fair. Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing the role here. You're taking the more pro Hokuzono stance. I'll take a bit of a negative one.
Hell yeah.
Just to suppress you a little bit. So I'm curious. I don't think we talked about it too much. The final chapter, I think, of part 1 of Kagurabachi was like we're gonna revive Samura. I'm gonna reforge these enchanted blades. Yada yada yada, right? And I feel as if one thing that I had said when that chapter would come out was like, man, I guess that's the position you find yourself in once you've introduced this power. But what in my opinion, weak resolution to go into this next part with, right? And I think that's where some level of like, because they don't have necessarily a reason to doubt his abilities in a long-term storytelling format, right? But I do not have reason to ride for it entirely, in my opinion. Like in the sense that like Hokuzono hasn't, he hasn't strut his stuff in this respect, right? He's still kind of like, I mean, we're only like 100 plus chapters in. It'd be hard to do so. I think that a setup like that, for like maybe the underpinning of the first part of this continuation is a bit like worrisome, just because I don't feel like as if there's a satisfying way to follow through on it. You either, overwrite your previous decision that had like some level of like weight and impact, I guess. Although I wouldn't say I was emotionally, wrought when Samura died. There's some level of like, damn, not only is Soga like a threat in the general sense, but he's also like, capable of killing like our strongest fighters. And like, Samura, after, reuniting with Iori, and just generally meaning a lot to the people around him, right? And so there's like some level of like narrative shockwaves and reverberation. Immediately after this, without taking a beat, Hokuzono is like, yeah, we can bring him back. You know what I mean? Or it's possible that we could bring him back. Okay, cool. And so now we're at a crossroads, right? Either he gets brought back, or he doesn't. And I feel like if he gets brought back, I have my obvious like, damn, it's kind of like lame issues. And if he doesn't, it almost feels as if like, well, yeah, you don't really get flowers for that. You shouldn't bring him back. And so it's like, why focus on it? Narratively, why put this as like it feels, if not like a direct flaw, a direct issue, like a weak springboard to move into part two. It's like we're gonna take Soka down, we're gonna reforge these blades, and we're gonna revive Samura. All right, one of these isn't like the other, gang. I'm not gonna lie. Like I feel like any subplot where we focus on that is going to be a very, and this is just my speculation. You know, Hokuzono can and has proven me wrong. I've been wrong about manga plenty times in the past, but it feels like of those three sort of like motivations, it's like, okay, taking down Soga, you still got to give me more reason to really feel it, but I suspect you can. Reforging the enchanted blades, it depends on how into it Hokuzono wants to get, like how important he is going to make smithing and forging an aspect of a series, which, you know, wink wink nudge nudge, we'll talk about a little bit later. And then it's like, oh, and then bringing back Samurai. It's like, damn, I like almost double don't care. One, because Samurai's death didn't really like emotionally wreck me, so I'm like, I don't even necessarily care. Like, please, bro, please bring Samurai back. I miss him. I don't really. He was cool. And then it's also like, I also just think it's a narratively kind of limp decision to make. And almost threatening a revival doesn't really, it doesn't shake me, it doesn't move me, it doesn't make me want to go do something about it. I think that also kind of influences the relative hesitance, the ambivalence, I guess, of how I'm moving seeing here. I expect Hokuzono to turn up the heat at some point, and I expect to kind of get on that gravy train soon enough. But there's always going to be this thing in the back of my head, kind of like, where are you going to go with this? Is there even an interesting way to take it that I couldn't expect? Or if it is a way, if you're going to take it in a direction that I do think is obvious, how are you going to like wow and woo me? You know what I mean?
Okay, cool. So I like you framing it as though you're like taking the hater seat. Then I'm gonna sit my ass right on Hokuzono's dick, and I'll get really argumentative, and oppose you very heavily. Cool. I don't mean it. You know, you're a good friend. All right. I want to address one thing really quick because I just kind of figured this would happen. Somebody was like, okay, the Seitei War is fundamental to the entire story, and it's very much its own story as well. It's definitely getting like 20 plus chapters, a couple more, just like what? That's like ridiculous. There's gonna be nothing but fundamental disagreements if you don't follow me in the framework here, because like, and I'm just talking to the chatter, or any chatters who have a similar feeling of like, what are you talking about? Like, it'd be that fast? Like, no. Or like, oh, it's going too fast. I actually want it to slow down. Too fucking bad. I'm sorry. Grow the fuck up or grab a different book. It is being published in Shonen Jump. It is a manga that needs to release weekly on an absurd fucking schedule, and it's also expected to maintain a really high level of engagement that is only achievable by super fast-paced storytelling. You're not getting slow burn out of Shonen Jump, so that's just not in the question. Like, you're being unreasonable and thinking that a main aspect of an arc in a Shonen Jump manga is going to be a slow burn. There can be subplots that are slow burn, but the main plot cannot be. Like, that's just a fundamental truth of the stories that we're reading. That's not an opinion, that's just what's happening. That's what's always happening. You got to keep that in mind, you know, if you're like reading these weekly manga. You want slower stuff, read independent Western comics or books that don't have pictures. So yeah, I wouldn't consider 20 chapters for the Seitei War arc to be slow burn, though. That's fast pacing. If anything, there's a lot of plot to get through. There isn't. The Seitei War actually isn't like that important. Oh, it's fundamental to the plot. It's not. It actually isn't. It's a building block of the starting plot, but it doesn't matter that much. We spent 100 chapters not knowing all the specifics of the Seitei War, and that made any pinch of us learning about it more interesting. You know, we get introduced to the sword bearers, and they seem really cool. You know, fucking Orabachi, like, for a long time. And you only get that by keeping that stuff in the background. It's not necessary. You don't need to know the entire history of every fictional world you're thrown into. That's just very unlikely in this publisher, and it's also not necessary. It's not massively fundamental. What is fundamental, what I feel like matters the most, and the thing that you brought up, now I'll get to dick riding, is the feeling the kind of undercut narrative from Samura's death, and then the goal setting of reviving him. I think Slow burn is Hunter x Hunter. This is just simply context being added. Lol. Where's Hunter x Hunter right now? That's slow burn circumstantially, but like, shut up. Fucking hell. Um, so, so I, I remember hearing you like pointing that out as like, oh, that bothering you. I definitely feel like a lot of that is coming from a sort of a bias built up from kind of seeing a trope too much. You know, oh, people get revived all the fucking time, and it kind of like takes away a lot away from the story. I don't entirely feel that is badly. Like, I think you just need to frame the story on its own. I think that's taking like outside context into a story that like it's hard to avoid, but whatever. I don't think it really undercuts the narrative at all, though. Like, it feels like a good. I don't know if it's like the natural progression, but it is a good natural progression. The story started out, my father, committed a great sin, basically. Like, whether you think his dad's cool or not, a great sin was committed, and I'm going to basically clean up the sins of my father. We end part 1 on that pretty much wholesale failing. But then I think that's like the reason Chihiro loses, essentially. Samura loses, the good guy side loses at the end of part 1, is because if all you're doing is cleaning up, that doesn't have enough narrative weight to create a satisfactory ending to a story or an arc. Oh, if he got all the blades and he destroyed them, they lived happily ever after, right? I think it sounds very it sounds like a really good narrative punch to be like, my father created the ultimate death machines. I'm going to take the same like power and talent, that I got from my father to bring people back to life. He made like the ultimate killing machines. I don't want the end of Chihiro's story to be that thing that he said to Hirohiko in the theater when he was like, when people were like, fuck yeah, a hero who isn't like fucking no kill rule. Chihiro's so cool, it's like, oh, I kill, but I'm not like you. We'll go to hell together. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna kill you though. It's like cool, edgy, dark. That's in the middle of the story. I don't want that to be Chihiro's final, answer to everything, is to just be another terrible human. Because that's just like he seems like he's accepting that. The progression of his own personal arc to want to bring somebody back to life, because the whole focus of the story up to this point has been these things that kill people. I think there's room to make that a very satisfying climax to get somewhere. And I feel like you might just be looking at like, oh, a resurrection as like a vacuum kind of concept. Whereas like, no, I'm seeing it in that framing that's where it's going. My father was like the god of death. I want to be able to bring people back to life. Like,
Yeah. So
I think there's a lot of room to play with there.
So let me be clear, right? I do have like a general wariness of revivals conceptually in shonen manga. I think they very obviously, or obviously is the wrong word, they very regularly tend to lack a certain level of like bite, and like a punch to them. Sometimes they can feel a bit unearned or disinteresting. That isn't to say though that revivals can't mean anything or that revivals can't be done well. I love Naruto. Naruto be reviving the fuck out of characters. That shit happens all the time, right? I love that story, and I don't love it in spite of those things. A lot of its best moments, or a lot of some of the series' greatest moments, come from the fact that like characters who should be dead are not, right? So at a baseline, I understand that like it comes down to like an individual execution of it, and I even get that like part of the reason you'd bring Simmer back on top of what you're saying in terms of like reinforcing the idea that Chihiro was more than like revenge kill to fix monster, right? Instead of just like it rather than just pulling the weeds that Kunishige left, he's trying to plant something new, right? Something beautiful for the world to
Well, yeah,
enjoy.
it's the middle path. What's the middle path? What's in front of Chihiro? Either, you know, get them all back and destroy them, or become, you know, his own tyrant, the next generation of the Kunishige bloodline. The middle path is do something better for the world, like flat out, you know.
And yeah, and so I say that to say I feel you. I fuck with it. It's also Samura. Don't be so self. I believe that there is a path for you outside of like death, right? You can live with your daughter. I get that. I understand. The theming is there. That's not really why I hesitate to rock with it. I think even within the encapsulated context of Kagurabachi, it doesn't have the right minerals in my opinion, right? So take like what Mikey said, right? Where you have and you're not too familiar with Naruto, so I'll try to think of like a different one in a second. But like Kushina's moment with Naruto, replacing that with like Samurai and Iori, right? In order for that to work, even a partial momentary revival, I at least need to be, in my opinion, this is the way I view it, right? One of the core characters this is for need to resonate with me extremely deeply. So deeply, in fact, that it overrides any sense of like, but wait, wasn't this supposed to represent how dire things are?
Well, yeah, you're the person who hated the Iori arc, though. You know, so like, of course you're not gonna feel that way. It's like, yeah, the character's right there. You just fucking hate her. That's all. That's okay. That's just your opinion.
Right? Duh, right? And I didn't hate the Iori arc. It's just
You literally said that as it was happening. You're like, I don't know, I might hate it now.
That's not what I said. I said because you're referring to when she first uses the fucking EOI purity style, and I was like, I don't know if I like this. And then I literally said,
I'm referring to even before that, like 2 chapters before that. It's like, this little girl shit is going on for a bit too long. Give me back to the meatheads. I miss my femboy.
No.
That's literally what you said.
No. I hated on one chapter and immediately was like, Hokazono fed me my lunch. My bad, bro. That's on me. My fault on that one. And so I don't have anything against Iori as a character, but that's pretty much it. I just don't have anything against Iori as a character. She's fine, right? Samura's also fine. Like, neither of these characters move me to the point of like, I need to see them back because I need to see their relationship foster and grow. There's no like underlying.
There's no foster and grow. That, you know, wait, yeah, like even anything. Sleeping Danger. Hold on, even Sleeping Danger. My thing is bringing Samura back after destroying Tobamune is like, sure, he's happy, but what does he even do at this point? What does he even do at this point? I would see Samura being revived as literally like one of the couple of pages in the final chapter of Kagurabachi. It's not a bring him back because we need him. It's a bring him back for Iori because she's been through enough. She literally like fought and put her life on the line just so she could have her father like exist at all anymore, to have his memory back. She, in her own introductory arc, had earned her father, and he was taken away immediately. And if she gets him back in the final chapter, that's perfect. He doesn't need to do anything else. He's served his purpose, but the point of bringing him back to life isn't like so because he has more he has to do. No, it's for the send-off. It's the actual it's Iori's send-off.
And that's cool, right? But the problem is for that. Like, for example, would you like Kunishige to come back at the end of Kagurabachi? Because a lot of characters go through a lot of shit, right? A lot of characters work really hard, and their victory is not necessarily like they live happily ever after, right? Chihiro.
A lot of warriors. Iori is a fucking teenage girl, bro.
Chihiro, her peer, by the way. Like,
Chihiro is 18. That's a grown ass man.
Teenage boy. They're like
That's
18.
A grown ass man.
Listen.
He could have an OnlyFans.
No. Horrible way to scale like tragedy. 1, 2. Right. You are Miss Chihiro's being parentified. I know you rock with me on this one, right? I'm saying a lot of characters generally go through a lot, right? That's cool. Going through a lot does not necessarily mean
age. That's good.
it can make a revival satisfying for some people, and that's cool, right? Oh man, like fucking Gojo went through a lot. Oh, he shouldn't have had to die. Like, sure, I guess, but like the story.
No, Gojo was meant to die. No, that's good. Yeah.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying Gojo. I know Gojo was meant to die. I'm saying characters that are good people go through a lot all the time and don't just magically have the consequences of actions that weren't even theirs to begin with overwritten. That's just stories aren't written just because like, oh, but this character's so nice though. They're such a good person.
You're minimizing the hell out of what I'm saying because you don't want to agree with me and you don't want to think what I want you to think. So
I'm not minimizing. I'm not minimizing what you're saying. You're saying
if you could just
Iori.
try to if you could just try to think that I'm right and then engage with me.
No,
you might actually get something out of it.
No.
I'm not saying it's just because she's
because you're
okay. Yeah, but whatever. Shut up. Seriously though, I'm not just saying it's because she's good. It's my perspective of the narrative. It's not just because she's good. It's just that taking everything into account, I'm not able to name every single fucking piece of dialogue, every panel that leads me to feel this way about the story. You know, we all have our own predictions. I'm sharing my prediction, where I feel like it's going, and it feels narratively proper for Samura to be revived. It would be a close to one of Chihiro's arcs, because Chihiro has, like, he's the main character. He has many paths ahead of him that he could end on, but one ending that could be pretty beautiful in summarization is my father was the god of death. I'll be the one that brings life. That's cool. And simultaneously, you get to close Iori's arc, and she gets to have her father. You know, she gets to have that life back that was taken from her. That's really cool, you know, and I don't mean like he's revived for a moment. No, like he gets to just live now. He gets to retire with his daughter. It's not a wholesale, oh, well, what about, you know, fucking, Chihiro's dad coming back? It doesn't feel as proper. You know, if that happens, that wouldn't feel as proper as Samura coming back. Samura coming back feels a lot more proper. It's like the weight of the sin between the two of them, the Rokuhira sin put onto Chihiro is too much compared to the Samura put onto Iori. Samura and Iori can have a proper parent-child relationship. I feel like Chihiro has lost more than Iori. That's not really able to be repaired or come back. You know, it's just, that's all that really is like those seem like they would line up well. You just didn't sound like you had considered the possibility of that. You can still disagree, you know, with the idea where it's going, but when you just point out to me, you're like, oh, I feel like Samura coming back is kind of stupid. It's like, well, can you, I don't know, literally just try to imagine how it might work, especially narratively, because it sounds more like just a general complaint the idea of reviving it all.
Let me give you an example, right? And this one won't land, unfortunately, because it's MHA related, but people in chat should understand, right? Let me think of I can't think of a series we both read that would work well. I was gonna use MHA.
Oh my god, use MHA, fuck you. Oh my god.
Okay, cool, right? The final conversation between Shigaraki and Deku, right? Like, you're unironically kind of throwing themes and such at me, and I'm not saying I disagree. I'm saying there's more to telling an interesting and well-handled story than it making sense thematically, right? I'm not disagreeing with you that it may make sense thematically for it to happen, but I think there are other things beyond that you need to set up in order for it to be, like, well done. Right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's why I expect this to be short. Yeah. You know, that's why I hope the Seitei War arc is short, because we have more that is important to the story that's going on in the present. You know, we already have a fuck ton of information about the Seitei War. We don't need a ton of chapters with a lot of explanation of what happened back then. We can get through this pretty quick, establish a few things, be introduced to some people. That's kind of cool, right? Oh, hey, instead of meeting all the sword bearers in the present, we get to meet a couple, you know, through a flashback arc. Fun, you know, whatever. A short, snappy, you know, set up a few things. It's easy writing too, you know, so bang through that and then get right back to the present and then finish building that up and adding to that. Yeah, I am throwing themes and such, but, you know, my hero is over, and you could be like, okay, yeah, well, it wasn't good enough. Yeah, and that's it. Like, I'm still hopeful and haven't been given a reason yet. Check in next week if fucking Hokazono is going to pull off the themes and such well. You know, it's like, cool, you both got themes and such. Horikoshi, you know, I would have liked that to be executed a little differently. And Hokazono, all right, I'm not too concerned about how it could be executed. The setup is good, you know, and unless next chapter is super slow, I'm still pretty hopeful Hokuzono is on the right path.
All right, fairs. Fuck, I gotta find a new one. No, can't say that's interesting. Fascinating doesn't work. Yo, chat. What's like a neutral? What's a neutral like type shit? Yeah, we still accepting type shits here. If I say type shit, how do you feel about that one?
Type shit.
Type shit. I bet. All right, cool. Hell yeah. Thing that was in there somewhere earlier. Was the importance BR just wants Iori to be sad and miserable type shit. Let's see. Oh yeah. We talked. I mentioned earlier. That's crazy. Nah, that one's overtly like dismissive. Fair enough. Fair enough. I do that one too much. Didn't I just say that actually? Intriguing? No.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fe.
I just say fairs. You're right. Yeah.
Fairs.
Fair enough.
It's kind of fairs is kind of gay.
What? It's just British. Let's see. Cut to next week where this is negative action and it's just a tap session between Kunishige and Subaru. Take a shot every time BR says like. Take a shot. Never mind. Yeah. Type shit. Fuck Iori broketh Ronith. No, I didn't say all that. Okay, whatever. Ugh, let's move on. I don't think I'll be doing that one. That sounds like a bad idea. Anyways, I had brought up the importance, maybe or lack thereof, we'll see, of blacksmithing, of forging. And I wanted to kind of see what your thoughts are on that would be based on the most recent chapter.
It's fun to see relatively like inspired by realism aspects going into it. It's not exactly like a super engaging thing. It's more just fun for me to see because like even though I really like it, I don't think it lends well to getting back to the hype moments and aura and shit. But yeah, no, like I'm so used to seeing in any kind of media with regards to the smithing of weapons being presented pretty unrealistically, and it's fine. It's just the story is rarely ever about how things are actually made. But that was the initial draw to Kagurabachi, like just from chapter 1, that the protagonist isn't just you know uh kid who wants to do thing, who's good at fighting. It's kid who was raised as a smith, a weaponsmith. And I'm just happy to see Hokuzono like pretty much pay off on that really well. There hasn't been like a lot of touching on the smithing or forging of weapons, even though this story is literally, the outcomes of somebody smithing weapons. And then to finally get to that a bit, and not just, show a guy pouring liquid metal into a cast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's nice to have some added reasoning behind why it is the way it is, not just this guy just fucking does it, which has been the case for the entirety of the story. It's like, damn, like he could just do that shit. He was just good at that shit. No, it's really cool. The draw to the am I tripping? Kunishige, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chihiro Rokuhira. Kunishige is his dad's given name. Yeah. The draw to Chihiro's eyes and the draw to Kunishige's eyes is really cool. I saw it as a sort of hint to, be paid off in an explanation like this in the most recent chapter. The idea of not just like an artist's eyes, but specifically a smith's eyes, a funny thing. At least when it came to like traditional smithing of any weapon in anywhere in the world, not just Japan, but like Europe, Africa, places where people were forging iron. It's not the idea of your eyes being really good isn't really played up that heavily for the idea of a smith, but it deserves to be, and it's cool that it is here. I was hoping that it had to do with him being a smith. It's not just a Chihiro has good eyes, he's good at fighting. No, it's like he has the eyes of a good smith, he has the eyes of an artisan, because a really funny thing that could happen to a lot of smiths in the past is that their eyes would pretty much get burnt out. Because when you're working with iron, you have to get it to such a high level of heat that it can at times look like you're staring, you stare at the sun even with like some sunglasses on, and it can burn into your eyes. That'll fuck you up, and you really need that while you're smithing. Because the reason it would really fuck with your eyes a lot too is that they normally would only forge in complete darkness, because, well, one, you don't have like lights way back in the day, but also even if you did, like, you wouldn't want to forge in the day, or if you did, you'd want to do it, in those huts that are pretty black out. And we see that at the start, or each time we see Chihiro or his dad like smithing, it's supposed to happen in the dark, because if you had any light there, you wouldn't be able to see the temperature that the metal is at. um the hotter it gets, the whiter the metal gets. It goes from red to orange, yellow to white. And you need to know what temperature you're at there. And if your eyes are getting worse, if you've burnt them out too much from staring at the fucking white hot metal, then you're gonna kind of have to retire. So making this point that, like, it's almost like the six eyes of Kagurabachi, these really good eyes for seeing things. It just felt like a general like power system thing. It just felt like oh, that's just their special thing. But I was hoping it would be leaning more to the cool. That could be one thing, that having just like a good elementary understanding of swordsmithing could be a hint to explaining that more in the future. And the most recent chapter just kind of felt like a confirmation of that. In focusing on like the idea of the veins or whatever in the steel. It's like that idea exists in swordsmithing, in weaponsmithing, in metallurgy, but it's not that important, because the page that shows like the veins that are kind of random, and then the veins that Subaru did, that is an achievable thing with regards to actually making a sword. The difference it makes in reality is so marginal. It's non-zero, but it doesn't fucking matter in real life. But it gets to matter in Kagurabachi because they have magic. It's like that doesn't make a difference if a non-sorcerer compares those two swords. But if somebody who can circulate spirit energy picks up that sword, it does matter a lot, very noticeably. That's a cool thing to point out. It's like there are people out there who would make a weapon or smith a sword, and they would go so crazy on it, like Subaru, not for any other reason than I'm capable of that, But it's cool to see something like that, an artisan going to a level that isn't really necessary, but being appreciated in a story. Like, that's what I feel like is always missing. Whenever there's like weaponsmithing or the creation of something, an item or whatever in a story, it's usually like an afterthought. And I just like that Hokuzono's focused on it so much, and not in a not in an ignorant way. It's like a confirmation that Hokuzono does care about these things, which is really cool.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Chat, that was your metallurgy lesson with lethality. You said you do classes.
Not really, but
you
okay.
do classes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right?
Yes, DM me.
Yeah.
Where? I don't know.
Type shit. Y'all know where to go. Come on now, lock in. Yeah. In any case, nice Kagurabachi talks. Nice Kagurabachi talks. Let's see. I would say next Blue Lock. Blue Lock, we don't really have a lot to talk about, though. I feel there's like only the latter half of this chapter. Not the latter half, Jesus, the first half of this chapter. Because Yusuke Nomura, suddenly fell ill. By the way, I gotta say, Sleeping Danger, we're sacrificing half of your lifespan so Yusuke Nomura feels better right now. We already made that contract. Me and God.
Wait. Just to be clear, because I don't know the release schedule for Blue. What chapter are we on Blue Lock?
340.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm all good.
Yeah. Hell yeah. but yeah, no, Blue Lock. I mean, like, the first part of a chapter essentially, so not too much to speak on. But as expected, it's gonna be a little bit. We gonna see some more of the people subbed in, namely Borrow to start. Um, yeah, I guess I'll go just like we have been with these past few discussions, a bit more broad than anything else. How have you been feeling about this game at large?
Oh God, I love Blue Lock so much. I really like Blue Lock. Yeah. No, I do like Blue Lock. That wasn't a joke. I meant that seriously.
Nah.
Um, yeah, compared to the last game, like how I don't know, um Nigeria was pretty disappointing as a game
Mm,
overall, just because of just the lack of tension.
mm,
That's it. That's what makes the story fun. Blue Lock is really good at creating tension, and especially has like plenty of examples of doing that over a long period of time.
mm,
And Nigeria, it's like sure maybe it's like a breather. Um, it just it's not like it sucked. It's just damn, like you've given me such an expectation. Um, it felt really weird to have little to no tension all of a sudden.
mm.
And it's cool to have it back. Yeah, we're in the second half of the game. 2-1, you know? Fuck yeah. Um I really like Hugo.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal introduction, you know? It's just like we barely see anything of the guy up to this point, and then finally we get in the game. I feel like the general consensus on the motherfucker the whole time leading up to it, up to this game, any flash of him, it's just like, oh, whatever. Who's this bum? Yada yada yada. And then we get a chapter. He explains his ego, and yo, he's so fucking cool. That's really good. I wasn't really ready for Blue Lock to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they've set up so many characters, made them all very interesting, and we've got plenty of like to work with already. But okay, sure, fuck, keep adding people, tight,
Mm-hmm.
and doing it well. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't just as a general thing. Start an argument with me. I don't know.
Start an argument with you. Fuck, I don't know. You know me. I'm just like I'm so agreeable. It's kind of tough. Drop your nuts, Borrow. Yo, Demon, if you're still in here, can you handle that?
I
Oh
don't think she's
fuck,
able to handle
that's mod on
Mosaic.
that's
That's
mod on
on
mod
you.
violence. No,
Wake
hold on, hold
up.
on. Wait. I can just turn Demon into a super mod, the kind of like kill other mods. I'll look into that in a bit actually. Mosaic, fucking watch yourself, buddy. You're on thin ice. Yeah, no, this game has been really good. I've really enjoyed it. Hugo's is, and not in terms of like their philosophies or even their demeanor, but just in terms of like the base minerals, right? I'm feeling like Kaiser particles. Like I'm feeling like, this is some high quality stuff. Borrow Nation, we will rise. Do I take his bending trap? Whatever, I'm gonna chill. Anyways, um, yeah, Hugo has been a very, very fun antagonist. I feel like 338 was probably my favorite chapter of the match so far, and that's where he just like really gets into the nitty gritty of his ego and like what it's all about. And the reason I liked it so much wasn't just because like Hugo is like cool and seeing more about the character is interesting, and just like what he represents against Blue Lock and stuff like that is fascinating. Um, but it is the fact that it did the thing that like you would think as someone who's has Isagi as his favorite character wouldn't like to see, but it's fucking great. It felt like it plunged Isagi like really low, just being like, wow, dude, he's better than me in every way. um like basically in Blue Lock, saying someone's ego is bigger than yours is like, dude, you're like, I'm less of a human than you, right? You're living a better life than me. And that was like really good stuff, because I do feel as if um you know, Isagi does a lot of his best work, not just like within the actual like football matches, but in terms of like as a character, does a lot of his like work coming from behind, like an underdog sort of narrative, to the point where I'm actually interested to see how Kaneshiro will eventually have to write Isagi being chased in the long run, or if that's even something he'll be able to handle. You know, maybe Isagi takes on the mentality of like a forever challenger, although that didn't really work for Ippo all that well, but I'll table that. I'll put that to the side. Let's see. Whole group stage is just filler until Nagi and Sai join in the knockout. Sai, I agree with. Nagi might not make it, bro. Let's see. Yeah. The lower the dip, the higher the rise. Type shit. There's another option you have, BR? What's the other option I have?
You know what's funny? I definitely think of that chapter.
Mm-hmm.
You ever be on TikTok? You know. Fuck. Terrible way to start a sentence. On TikTok though, and like in the comments, it'd be a video about something. There will be like, just say like there's a man from India doing something cool in the TikTok, and for some fucking reason in the search bar, like a bunch of people have commented and were searching Indian men getting humbled. You know, it's like Jesus Christ, like the weird jealousy that's always created, like just on social media. It's just a funny thought. But I've been feeling the same thing every time I see anybody talking about Blue Lock. It's like there's the camp of like Asagi's downfall people. And it's just like that just looks like the, like, you know, searching Isagi getting humbled, like, and wanting that so bad. And it's just funny that you kind of sounded like one of those people for a moment of just like, oh, it's cool to see like the dip, you know, or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's nice to see him say somebody else is like so big and girthy.
Exactly.
Been needing Isagi to get humbled. So like, yeah, that's satisfying. The whatever the forever challenger idea is funny, just because as you were saying it all, I was like thinking like, oh, does that not make you feel any type of way for Isagi's character? That it's like, oh, he's not as interesting, like being actually in first place. He's always cooler as an underdog. It's like, has he not earned enough to step out of that underdog state? And is it either something with his character or just like a weak point of the author? It's like not being able to make Isagi as cool if he is number one. We always got to knock him down so he has somebody to chase.
I think that Isagi is really cool as the center of attention in the eye of the storm, right, in matches. I think like that's part of the reason that NEL Isagi is so cool, is because it really does feel that way. Like Kaiser's always there and there's always something to chase. But it does really, there are points, and to me it's like they're flashes in the pan, right, where it's like, this motherfucker feels unstoppable. He kind of feels like he's cheating. God, give me more, right? The reason I say like you need the dip before the rise is just because a lot of his most explosive moments are ones that are cool, not just because they are cool in a vacuum, like he did something crazy or he beat someone impressive. It's because they're like very emotionally charged. They're moments of like extreme physical and mental triumph. Like there is something, and this, like, I hope this doesn't get taken the wrong way, right? There is something a little bit intoxicating, personally, I'm speaking for myself, like as a human, about feeling like a really good day after feeling like shit the night before. There's something like, I don't look forward to feeling like shit, right? But the contrast, it creates this like level of difference it's kind of hard to not notice. And I feel like in this instance, there's a tension born, not just from it happening, right? But like, what's the word I'm looking for? But from like how, right? Why, and by what method or whatever, right? And so like Isagi, I think it is a feature, and I feel like I would worry if it were. I would maybe wonder if it wasn't a feature if this match didn't seem to be addressing it. But it is kind of like, dude, you're not. It almost feels, or it can be taken in a bit of like a meta, like a meta context, which like Hugo is dead ass saying you're not meant to be in this role, right? Yeah, sure, you're the protagonist, but you know that's not like where you're meant to be, right? That's probably for like other characters. Other people have personalities, and when talking about from writing perspective, or other characters have better physical abilities when talking about within the actual like context of the matches themselves. To be number one, you're not that. You're someone that evolves and grows in response to other people. You're someone that other people grow and evolve in response to. That isn't a protagonist. That isn't a main character, right? That doesn't mean you're any less good. Cause look at me, I'm fucking sick as hell, and I want to be the world's number two. Um, but it does make you not suited for the role you're in. And I think it's like an interesting thing to bring up. I wonder even, like, you know, you ask the question, if Isagi isn't meant for that, or if he's always meant to kind of be the underdog, like, what does that mean for his character? And like, I'll be honest, like in a holistic sense, I if that is the case, right? If Isagi is like in a constant pursuit for people, um, and that is generally where he functions. He's at his most interesting. I'll be real with you. Kaneshiro has set up an amazing cast of characters that can constantly usurp the other, surpass the other, or present like their own interesting conflicts in their own way, to where like that doesn't bother me. I love and like enough of characters in Blue Lock for Isagi to not be the focal point and still be fascinating, right? And still be interested in the manga and still be like engaged. You know, for as much as I like to joke about like Nagi getting eliminated and he's not coming back to Blue Lock, he's fucking Kira tier. I fucking love Nagi's super cool, man. Some of my favorite chapters in the manga were when he was like in despair about being eliminated, and I think that's like not just an Isagi thing. I think it's a general character arc aspect, right? It's like, you know, the roller coaster requires that you go low before you get high, right? It just how it makes sense. I think Nagi's comeback can be so poignant and so punchy because, I mean, fuck, Kaneshiro dragged Nagi fans through the dirt, made him eat like actual like clods of mud, and it'll just make when Nagi eventually wins, or shit if he fucking fails, whatever the emotion will be heavy, and I that's just what I like generally speaking. Um, Turn this into a Kaiser manga who says no, no. Um, you know, he
I
can.
vibe with what Draco just said. I
Mm,
find Isagi rather repetitive
mm,
personally.
yeah.
That's Draco's personally. That wasn't mine. Um, but like I get that feeling about Isagi. It's just the desire for him to get benched doesn't feel like an individual desire.
Mm,
It He's the protagonist, yada yada. That's just the issue though. Like you pointed out, there's a very colorful cast of people, a lot of interesting people introduced, and it's not as much attention as you kind of hope at this point. Like it is now just Blue Lock, like in a championship. They're all together. This is the culmination of all of them, and it does start to feel like a checklist sometimes, like
mm,
coming from the author in like, hey, look, I let Bachira score a goal, you know?
mm,
It's like, okay, cool. Like, I don't
mm,
know. It doesn't feel as weighty. Um Aro and Shido coming in, cool. That's cool. I can imagine them feeling very weighty
mm,
coming into it. And yeah, it I don't know. The like my greater frustration with Blue Lock over time is it is kind of that. Yeah, there's like a level of repetitive for Asagi. Like this is a here's an allegation.
mm,
Do you cuz you said personally
mm,
Isagi it's kind of a I don't know if you said addicting or very satisfying about like you know the highs and the lows of the roller coaster with his character. But
mm,
it's just like, doesn't that kind of feel the waking up feeling like shit one day, but then like, oh, but how great it feels, you know, coming back from that, in spite of it. It's like, does that not kind of seem like the power fantasy thing I was talking about before? It's like
yeah.
Blue Lock
I was
Blue
gonna
Lock
use
has
that in
felt like
fact. When
yeah,
when
Blue Lock has felt like it's been set up to be more than a power fantasy, but it feels like it's been leaning into that power fantasy, and not so much a power fantasy, just the fantasy itself though, of like, oh man, it's great, you know, seeing somebody um go through highs and lows so rapidly and be growing consistently. Like, that's really cool. It's like, okay, some variance, please. Or some other characters' perspectives. Like, yeah, I'm very excited. It's not like a question in my mind that Nagi's coming back or not. That's, yeah, I don't know. That whole idea of like, oh, you know, like you know, fuck Mozane. I gotta get one of those in anytime I'm talking. Love you, Mozane. You're great. But like Baro Nation, Yaya, whatever, Shido Nation, Nagi Nation, Isagi Nation. It's like, dude, it's just Blue Lock. It's just a story. Um, the individual characters, it's a funny attachment to make. Um, it like no matter how you look at it, if you're comparing character to character, it's like, no, this is Isagi Nation. Like, this is all him. But the story felt a bit bigger than that from the start. And I guess I'm just gonna be. I'm not anticipating disappointment. We're getting, you know, more people coming in right now. Like, it's being made a point for them to come in right now. We're getting more of the cast back. Cool, people are hopping off the bench. Nice, nice. I want to see Chigiri cry a little. You know, give me some more of that. Yay. Um, if it comes back to feeling like that, this has been like the longest stretch for a while. That it's like, yeah, um, Isagi is like the biggest focus. And I don't know. I think I'll be disappointed if it feels like that for much longer, which doesn't seem like it will, but if we're just taking a short break and then we'll come right back to it, like, I hope the match ends with Isagi, um, not just being down, but like not really being the focus either. Like, I would prefer that, because I feel similarly on that, you know, like you expressing personally, you like that aspect of Asagi, but to me, I feel like I'm having to acknowledge the fantasy aspect of it, you know. It's like, hey, I enjoy Ichi the Witch because, yeah, God, I get sick of like conflict in my real life, and I like Blue Lock because, you know, Asagi gives me hope that I can just fucking have bipolar disorder and be okay with it.
Um, what's up? Right now we're talking about Blue Lock. Let's see. You know, it makes it feel like a power fantasy. I don't know. I feel like Blue Lock has kind of always presented it. So but that might just be a difference. I think most stories, I think like probably 90% of stories ever are, in some respect, power fantasies or fantasies in some way about like a person, set of people, or whatever.
Yeah, just Isagi's fantasy though. That's the thing, because you point to it specifically, and that's my only like seeming issue right now is I wasn't expecting it to be so much of the fantasy that Isagi represents. Not power, just whatever you want to call Isagi's fantasy. I I have been anticipating more of the surrounding fantasies for a long time.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about that at all in terms of like not getting it or whatever. I feel like we see like NEL is just the most recent like complete arc to use, and I feel like that's like a very, well, obviously Isagi's still the protagonist. It's like we explore quite a few different characters and quite a few different perspectives. So I'm not really worried about it from that. And yeah, I do feel as if Blue Lock does a pretty good job of covering that. You know, some people find it repetitive, and like, I don't know. To me, and maybe like a heretical comparison here, but it's kind of like repetitive in a way that wrong word. Don't use a word you don't know yet. It is repetitive in a way that is not too dissimilar from like the repetition I found in like Vagabond, where it's like, damn, bro, we really just gonna focus on you like self-discovering, and you keep like realizing the same shit over and over. Aren't you? Isn't that kind of repetitive? And it's like, yeah.
Well, yeah,
And
but
it's like
correct me if I'm wrong. Like, is there a colorful cast of other characters in Vinland Saga? Like that all feel like they were presented at a similar level, and also with a similar like goal. You know?
Talking about Vagabond.
Oh, I thought you said. Sorry, I thought you said Vinland Saga.
Maybe I did, but I meant Vagabond.
Okay, well, yeah, Vagabond though, that's very much like, yeah, that's Musashi's story. Like,
Yeah, sure. And it's like, to me, I'm just under no delusion that like the story is anyone else's but the protagonist. Um, regardless of what it is that I'm reading or watching, right? I'm not really like I'm under no impression that like any character is going to like supersede Isagi's relevance or even like totally match it. Um, let's see. The only game that didn't feel Isagi focused IMO is the U20 match, which is the best match in the series. Noticing, I'm not gonna lie, bro. U20 might not be top three anymore. You're kind of living in the past. But in any case, I say that to say like repetition in and of itself. I generally can use something being repetitive as like a negative, a critique, an insult as well. So I'm not like clowning you or Draco for using it as such because I get it. But for me,
Well, I
it
don't
being
even mean it as an
repetitive.
insult.
Hold on.
That's
Well,
all.
sure, right. I'm just saying like even if the point was like it is repetitive, I'd be like, yeah, I kind of get what you mean. It's formulaic, right? There is a very obvious formula that Kaneshiro is going for that like where you're seeing variations chapter to chapter, arc to arc. And I'm saying thus far, I really like the formula. Thus far, he's been able to iterate on it enough while remaining kind of consistent in a way that doesn't like it. It does not harm my reading experience. It enhances it, and so it's like, oh yeah, Isagi's repetitive. I wouldn't even like disagree. I'd just be like, yeah, I like that. That in respect to how it's done here, I fuck with it. Right? There's no like there's not even really like a disagreement being had then.
Well,
Um,
no, because reading Vagabond, I'm not under any illusion that this is about anything other than Musashi, and it's pleasant when like Sasaki is a focus. In Blue Lock, I am given an illusion of other characters being very engaging, a lot of characters, but you know, they're not getting a Sasaki, and that's all. Like in one, if Blue Lock concludes and it's like, oh yeah, it's been Isagi Lock, you know, I'm not gonna be really mad at it. It's just that I'll look back on reading it as it was coming out. Like damn, you know, that was a little confusing. You really broke my ankles there, man. Like I thought they'd get, you know, some kind of like major focus arc, you know. It's the ratio basically. It's not
God, I want to
um
hit you with the I want to hit you with the reversal. You're reading a weekly shonen manga lethality. You're not gonna get that. We're focusing heavily on the protagonist. You gotta get with the program. I don't mean
see,
that. It's just
that's not a reversal.
it
Like
kind of it
I
kind
don't
of
think
is.
there's anything taken out of the story by
It's
focusing on
slower.
one of the other very important characters. That doesn't slow burn. The story progresses either way, you know. It's like, does Isagi need to be the driving force behind each game? A game's gonna happen and it's gonna progress, you know? Like it I think someone like Draco is gonna fuck with it if we start the next match and Isagi's just on the bench the whole time.
Yeah,
Like him being on the bench doesn't slow the story down. The
but
next match has to happen.
I think that point, because you know I don't think it's entirely reversal either. But to defend it a little bit, regardless, I think the like bringing up like oh this person would enjoy it, therefore it wouldn't like slow things down is a bit of like a weak point. Just because like there are plenty of people who would enjoy a very protracted, long Seitei war arc, right? That doesn't mean the story doesn't slow down, right? The story of Blue Lock isn't miscellaneous football matches. It's the protagonist presumably becoming the number one striker. When we focus on him less, the story is necessarily slowing down because you're focusing on the story's you know primary motivation less, and that's fine. I
You
don't
made the
think.
fucking callback to the Seitei War arc, and I so urgently wanted to blow my fucking head off. Oh my god. Um,
Listen.
I got
Before
like
we
really mad really fucking quickly.
before
You
before
little fucking asshole.
I'm just saying. Listen, I'm just saying. In people's disparate enjoyment of a thing does not mean it's not slowing down. I think story slowing down is fine all the time.
You
Like
know what? I apologize for making it sound like that's the only reason I think it would be good. I fucked up.
no,
I didn't say enough
you're
words,
good.
and I shouldn't be so angry with you for taking it that way. My mistake. Um yeah, Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
listen, like Draco, you can boil any character down to that, right? Like, oh wow, Isagi's going to adapt. Like, dude, wow, Kaiser's gonna hate himself some more. Yippee! I wonder if we're gonna see more thorns and more roses. Nagi, wait, are you gonna be less lazy and think for yourself? Wow, it's like, yeah, dude, that's like a character. You should hope that you can boil a character down to like a few sentences or even like a few words to like isolate their general trajectory and their arcs. Like there's not a character you can name from a story I've read where you can't do that. Yuji, what, are you gonna suffer and persevere more? Damn, you must be ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, yeah, dude, you can do that with literally any character that's ever been written in any story. And it's like, cool, it's fine. Um, there's no argument against the repetitiveness of the narrative. It's just that, like, I don't think it's to its detriment. And also,
it's not repetitive as a concept. It's within its own story. Expectations have been built within a story. Kagurabachi built up the expectation. You know, I think argument can be made there, sure, that like, oh, I expected the Seitei War to be a major fucking focus and like to get every fucking finite detail explained like a fucking history book. I was expecting that. I wasn't at all. It didn't fucking matter to the current. It's just a backstory mention, and backstory isn't the most important aspect of any narrative, honestly. But that's my opinion. You know, whatever. So I go into Kagurabachi. The expectation is not built to get a super long, drawn out Seitei. I go into Blue Lock, and the expectation is not the same thing for Isagi specifically over and over, but it feels like the expectation Blue Lock gave me is kind of in conflict right now. That's it. Fuck the comparisons back and forth. What Blue Lock has made me expect is that there's a lot of cool people here. I'm glad there's finally a fucking ounce of a couple of them getting some goddamn attention, because I'm getting a little bit tired of Isagi. You know, that's it. And within the story, fuck all the comparisons to the other ones. The story's expectations.
Yeah.
The expectations they gave me. That's the conflict that's happening.
And that's fair, right? Like, you know, I feel you. Those aren't the expectations I came away with. It kind of just a reversal, but like it is what it is, right? Cool. I hear you. Ouch. Oof. Let's see. Like Kaiser can get repetitive. Yeah, I think Rin is super repetitive, but I'm also not sick of Kaiser or Nagi or others yet. Like I am Rin of Isagi, and that's chill. You know, I got more in the tank for Isagi in that respect than Draco, and that's cool. But yeah. Yeah. Consensus is we love Blue Lock and it's without its flaws. Hell yeah.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, type shit. Despite not having seen Blue Lock, I will say repetitive characters can work in stories as a stagnant character arc, but it has to be done well, otherwise the character feels shallow with no real depth. Hell yeah, Kwasi. Let me scroll up to see what you said earlier, but I know I'm a fuck with it. Salutations, BR. Hope things are going well like always, and sorry about not showing up sooner. Had things to do around the house for a bit, but glad to finally make it to stream. Hey, man, I appreciate you, Kwasi. I really do. Pookie, can you lend me some motivation for tomorrow morning? What's happening tomorrow morning, Misery? What's going on? Give me the deets. I gotta go. It was fun. Hey, have a good one, Kashima Glazer. Yeah, damn. We talked a lot about manga. What the fuck? I don't know.
What, you want to quit?
Nah, I'm not saying I want to quit. I was kind of surprised. It usually doesn't go this long with the other.
It's a crazy way to put it. I don't even know what you're talking about, but okay.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's cool. All right. So those are the chapters that come out on a weekly basis. That have dropped recent stuff. I need to work like a chud. Yo, Misery. If you make it through this next work day, don't even think about the week. Just make it through the next work day. You're gonna get to wake up eventually and read another Blue Lock chapter. Like, just make it to Tuesday. Bare minimum. Revisit. We'll have this discussion later once you make it to Tuesday. Read that Blue Lock chapter and be revived. Be reborn even. Hold on, I missed that Pookie and you aren't even a green chatter. Learn your goddamn place. No, Draco, dead ass, take 3 steps back, bro. That's fucking Misery. Chill. Relax. Nah. Yeah. Fuck, bro. Fuck, I can't just steamroll my co-host. I have to actually engage with what they say. Yeah. I'm having a good time. It just usually doesn't take this long.
Wait, did we even rate Kagurabachi?
Overall,
Or Blue Lock? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, fuck it, because it was like an overall.
yeah, Kagurabachi overall, 8 out of 10 for me. What do you have?
I'll do a 9. Yeah, I'll do a 9.
Okay. What do you have for Blue Lock?
Blue Lock?
Yeah.
Overall or most
Yeah.
recent chapter?
Overall.
Overall?
Yeah.
I hate that question. Why did I ask for this?
I'm not quite sure.
Um, overall, I'd say like up to the before this most recent match started. If you, I don't know if you what you want to call it, like the French match or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever the fuck. Up until that, like by the end of Nigeria, it was just like it was like a 5 out of 10, unironically. Right now, cool. I feel a bit of a recovery. It's at like a 7 for me right now. Yeah. When did the God chapter drop? Was that in the middle of or after Nigeria, or was that before?
That was after Nigeria.
That was after Nigeria. Okay, that was a huge jump for me, definitely. So yeah, it feels like it's been picking up. Yeah, overall it was a 5 for a while. All the recent stuff up to a 7. Yeah, it will bounce between those two probably every other chapter.
9.5 for me for Blue Lock overall. Fucking with it, obviously. So yeah. Let's see. Yo, Broken Renan, love your videos. Appreciate that, Spider X. Appreciate that. Okay, I'll brush my teeth and tuck my lonesome to bed. Good night. Have a good night, misery. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Let's see. All right, let's talk about Life Man. Thoughts so far. Anywho, let's see. Which of
would you say that's Damon? Like, how would you pronounce bro's name? Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown. Man, maybe Damon. I don't know. I think the expectations the story give for the characters have lived up. Kaiser Bar.
Oh no, I would not. Yeah, I wouldn't say read it out. Like I was just like, would you say Damon? I don't know. I'll just say Mr. Brown. I don't know how y'all act like the story, just focusing on Isagi. Cool, man.
Let's see.
Disagree to disagree. There we go. What's next?
Not sure if y'all talked about it, but what are your thoughts on current state of Sakamoto Days? 2 out of 10.
Oh, did we give an overall for Sakamoto Days? Shit.
2 out of 10. Yeah.
I'd say 4.
Yeah. Cool. I'm back. What's the topic of discussion? You always confused, bro. Okay.
That'd be Punk Gun, right?
Yeah. Punk gun. Fuck. It's over, chat. It's dead ass over.
What's over? What are you talking about?
Punk gun. It's dead ass up. The manga's almost done. It's almost over. I'm back with the topic of discussion. We're talking about Punk Gun Demon. A manga we've both read. Let's see. Yeah.
What's done? What's the most recent chapter you read of Punk Gun?
Let me see. Punk Gun. Yeah, 40. Yeah. Chapter
Okay,
40.
yeah, okay. What are you saying done? What's done?
It's
oh my
over.
God.
The manga's finished soon, probably. That's what that feels like.
What makes you think that?
Because it, like, the main character, we've resolved it.
Have you talked about Punk Gun with like anywhere at all yet?
Nope.
Oh, well, what the fuck are you talking? Then it's an overall like discussion, not the most recent chapter. What the hell?
Sure. But the most recent chapter is like what's in my mind at the moment. I'm not like I'm lamenting a little bit.
Damn, are you like heavy invested in Punk Gun? Is this one like meaning a lot to you lately?
Not necessarily. And if I were, I'd prepare myself for battle, right? But no. I like Punk Gun though. Punk Gun hit the guy so
What's
fast.
Punk Gun about is a great question from Alfredo Sauce.
Punk Gun
You
is
got a summary?
about Punk Gun is about a group of orphans, specifically focusing on the protagonist Ao Boba and his pursuit in trying to get money and I won't say status, get money in order for the sake of achieving their dream. You know, getting it out the mud, getting out the hood is basically the sentiment. Yeah, that's what the story's about. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Draco. It hit the guy so fast. I thought we were safe. I'm sorry for enjoying myself. Um, yeah. This manga focuses on a child bounty hunter who is doing it in order to get money to get him and his orphaned family um, out the mud. That's the story. That's the focus. Um,
I don't know if I've been affected by it enough to like even give a genuine summary of it. Um, mm, like yeah, accurate. Like you know, there's a group of orphans, and one of them wants to be a bounty hunter in order to be able to afford to take care of them all and give them a better future.
hmm.
Uh, yeah, yeah, fuck, I don't know. Um,
Draco Lockett, we might need a fuse, bro. Wait,
yeah.
let me not say.
I think I've
Let
been
me not say.
growing a little like too numb to the visual of like children um experiencing physical violence.
Hmm.
Um especially engaging with physical violence actively like
Hmm.
and it you know, it's definitely the goal of the manga. Like that's a point of discomfort that's very purposefully being presented.
Hmm.
Um you know, because hell, like a lot of the time we get so many like teenagers, you know, putting their lives on the line,
Hmm.
and engaging with violence very intimately,
Hmm.
against themselves and against others. But you know, Punk Gun definitely makes it a point to like make these kids look like they're fucking 5 years old,
Hmm.
um, and gets really fucking nasty with it.
Hmm. Yeah, I know,
I just
Draco.
don't feel like anything has clicked with me emotionally with regards to that yet,
Hmm.
and there's a part of it that just kind of feels it feels a bit excessive. I don't like have no faith in it where it's going. I don't think it's like over. It'd be funny if it
Oh,
was. That'd be really
it's.
funny if it
I
ended like next
guarantee it's done
chapter.
in the next 5 chapters. That's a fact.
Lethality thinks it's gritty edge slop. That's a
Yeah.
good summarization,
Yeah.
Draco. You know me so well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say fucking like
Yeah, you
complete
would.
slop. There's plenty of fun going on in it. It's just the there's a lot of fun visual going on in it, even if like I'm not a huge fan of the type of visual. There's good visuals. The art's been like enjoyable. The contrast between um the gritty to like the kids kind of contrast is cool. I like the it's almost like the separation of the child world and the adult world.
Hmm.
And that's cool to see those boundaries being crossed and then you know in the extremely literal sense the playing with paneling and stuff is like cool. I felt like I got jacked on one idea, not in like the panel fourth wall breaking, but the way it was described. I definitely feel like I had a fucking story idea stolen from me there.
Mm.
I'd be down to talk about, but like yeah, it as visually intriguing as it is, because I won't take that away. I haven't been really struck by the narrative yet. No, the story hasn't been hitting for me. I haven't felt any um massively empathetic moment with really any of the characters. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Um, very reminiscent of Tenkon Concrete. What the hell is that? Hold on. Let me put that in here. Has the mangaka made anything else? I'm not familiar with this at all. Has the mangaka made anything else? I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to check in a little bit. But yeah, Punk Gun was a story. Talking about a past tense already is crazy cooked.
What the hell? Yeah, damn. It could be like 50 more
No,
chapters.
it's
What are you
not.
talking about?
I guarantee on fucking Draco's life, it's over in 5.
Where is this being published? Who is this?
Who is this?
I don't even know the schedule it releases at. Like you just told me about it and I
two,
caught up.
two chapters. It'd be dropping 2 chapters a week. Yeah, in fucking I don't know Manga Plus, like wherever they be publishing shit. Yeah,
Okay.
I think the action really highlights the physical differences between Aoboba. It feels very tense because you feel like one mistake and it's all over for them. You constantly get that underdog feeling. Yeah, I wouldn't say that like Punk Gun had me like crying, like bawling my eyes out every time something happened. But I figured that this story would be. I was interested in the world that it was crafting, which is like funny. I usually don't give a shit about that. I'm like I historically am kind of like, sure, I guess. Like I can be interested in the history or the aspects of something. This one, I was curious to see, the trajectory of the manga interested me, right? A descent into further and further, like disconnection from his, from like his friends, his family, and just like a very I'll be honest, like tough to read descent is kind of what I expected. Especially when we get, and I don't remember her name, Motorcycle Lady. I kind of feel like that was the trajectory we were going to see Aoboba on. Like in fact, we see like some pretty like distinct parallels in terms of like the vehicles they're riding, yada yada. And it was just like an interesting story. It felt like, the so-called gritty edge slop. Fuck, I was eating that up. It was interesting. I like it. It's got a very unique visual style that I kind of rock with. Not kind of, I really do rock with. And so I was willing to
rocks with gritty edge slop. Just writing that down.
No, for sure. And so I was kind of along here for the ride when we get Mr. Fourth Wall Break manga panel man. I was a little worried just because
Cancer.
Huh?
Cancer. He's Cancer.
Yeah. I was like, fuck, this is a little fast. And he doesn't feel like the kind of antagonist that's going to let them rock. Like, it doesn't feel like we're going to get a Soga, and so they lived. Like, this is the kind of guy that feels like he's really going to, like, handle his shit. And so I was like, what are we, what are we going to do, guys? This is kind of like a scary individual. This is kind of a fearsome foe. And the answer has kind of turned out to be, we stand and face him and we either beat him right here, or it's up. And that's kind of how it's feeling right now. Yeah.
Very important question. Who would win, Kashimo or Toji?
Oh my god. Why are you asking me that?
I didn't ask you that.
You just asked me that.
No. Someone else did.
Oh, in chat?
Yeah. Feed your children. Holy fuck.
Who would win, Kashimo or Toji? Dude, like, I don't know. Kashimo, I guess. Yeah, Kashimo, sure. That character now feels like the mangaka wanted to shut their stuff before the series came to a close, which delivered some very visually impressive scenes. Yeah. Yeah.
The way y'all talking about it got me feeling like you have like a news article that said, "Oh, Punk Gun ends in at chapter 41."
Are you fucking reading it? Are you reading it?
Yeah, I am. It's just fucking like the assuredness with I don't know. It's like it could go either way. It doesn't. Oh, he's got a gun. He's also a human being. Regardless, there's been nothing that says like, oh, and not only can I break reality, I'm also bulletproof. No,
that's not what I'm not worried about. When I'm saying it's over, I'm not worried about him fucking winning. I'm saying the manga is coming to a close. I'm saying it's up. The story is almost done. The story is ending soon. I'm not saying like, oh dude, Aoboba is about to get fucking smoked. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the story is about to get fucking smoked.
Why?
I feel like why? It's like we've introduced big boss, final antagonist, I kill the world man, right? And we've kind of already had it out with him. I feel like all of like a lot of things that were maybe like built up and waiting for have like kind of crescendoed, and now we need to like we need it hashed out. Um, that's just kind of that's just kind of what it is. Um,
I guess fine. Yeah, there's where my disconnect comes in. Then yeah, I haven't really
it's
been
like I don't
fucking
know.
with the story. I've been liking the art and the style of it. I just
It's like
damn the story must really be fucking digging into your soul. Like I ain't feeling it digging in me like that. But
all I'm
you're
saying.
on you're on it.
It's just like if Yuji's like domain expansion, shrine, RCT. Come on, Sukuna, let's have it out. And at chapter 100, like sure, it could go longer, but like no, man, it's fucking over. Um, we're
I mean, I don't know. Fuck, if we're if I'm comparing to JJK, because we that's all our brains first are Jujutsu Kaisen,
mhm,
then we were born, then we grew up and developed.
sure.
So if I'm working in that,
Uh-huh,
if that's my framework,
uh-huh.
it's like if Boba is Yuji, this is the end of the. Junpei is about to die. There we go.
Fuck no. What fucking power up did you? What power up did
Either
you
okay,
get
wait,
there?
either. Hey, whoa, either Junpei's about to die, or um, the oh fuck, what was the name of them? Literally the next arc, the exchange event,
Goodwill.
Goodwill, yeah, the Goodwill event.
Mhm.
The Goodwill event is about to end. This is like the end of the Goodwill event.
Listen,
Um,
no, no, no. Listen. Here's the reason you are objectively and observably wrong, right?
This is the peak of the powers that you think like within this world. Like this is all the authors got. Like I
This
felt like
is.
there was set up for what Panda Woman was already had. Like she has like some kind of
I'm not.
literal paranormal ability, and
I'm not saying that this is. I'm saying that this is like it's giving acts, right? Because this isn't just like he's getting stronger. Da 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 da. It's not like that. It is specifically the confrontation of a final antagonist. This is the leader of the person who like had like the child bombings. Aoboba now has like the mystery behind like why he's has all of this training revealed, right?
oh,
Panda
okay,
Woman,
wait. So
all of
you're
these things.
saying this is a bum ass story that's about to just be forced to finish? Okay, okay.
It's just
It's
like
being
it,
forced to wrap up. That's what you're getting across.
yes, I'm saying because it's literally all of the plot lines that could take place over longer stretches of time are converging right now. It's like if Yuji was like, I now have Shrine and RCT, Sukuna face me. Like it's like, yeah, dude, it doesn't really matter when that happens. When that happens, the story is coming to a close. That you've blown your narrative load. Unless this punk gun author is dead ass about to like, okay, everything we've set up until this point, we're finishing it now, we're reloading an entire narrative, then it's over. Because it's not like it's not at any point in JJK pre the final story or pre the final arc. Because it's not like, oh, Yuji beat Mahito. It's like cool, but there's still Sukuna until
No, I know.
you.
I didn't know that there was like like that level of I didn't think you were lacking. Uh, I didn't think you had so little charitability for it. Okay, I was giving too much charitability. I was even saying, story's kind of like whatever. I wasn't under the pretense that like, yeah, this shit's about to like actually end because it isn't good enough and it's failing and it's being forced to wrap up. I wasn't going into it like with that. So you were just confusing me for a while. So yeah, sure. I was being too charitable, thinking that, you know, this slop, this edge slop, would be allowed to like have more arcs than this. I fucked up there. You know what? Cool. Like hell yeah.
You did misread. Yes, correct.
Yeah, big time.
But yeah, that's why I'm like, it's up, it's over. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Panda Woman, and JJK, something ain't adding up. No, Panda Woman and Punk Gun. Panda Woman in Punk Gun. Wait, Panda Woman in JJK is like a dinosaur or something. Dude, if JJK ended at UD's death in Fierce and Woolmark, where would we be right now at this very second? I'd probably be homeless. Just like no funny shit, so. It's
Oh
probably
my
up for me.
god.
I have no marketable skills, chat. Like if JJK didn't put me on, if Gege did not sit me on his lap and say, "Here's how you make money, Broken Ronin," it was like that should have been up for me.
Attention is an economy. JJK did crazy numbers with regards to the chunk of attention it pulled from the economy. In its absence, like reality would be that attention going somewhere else, you know? It's not crazy if that's our alternate reality to be like, oh, Blue Lock ends up taking that attention. Would you not be happier?
I'd definitely be happier and probably have made more money, yeah. But I don't think that's how that would. I don't think that's how it would have shaken out. Um, I
Well, we
definitely.
don't know. We're just talking about a
Yeah,
bullshit
no, for
alternate
sure, for
reality,
sure,
you know,
yeah,
whatever.
no, for sure. You can be a food coach or something, gang. What does that even mean, bro? Um, Deadass. Some of the action sequences are so cool. It got tears out of me. I hope to see more work from the creator in the future. Me too, bro. I hope to see more from them too. Um, but yeah, yeah. Gege, give me a kiss, man. Okay, you don't fuck with you like that, bro. um, God.
Well,
What?
damn.
What do you?
Mozane, what were you so excited about then? Like, oh, you're gonna talk about Punk Gun. It's like, it's very doomer,
Because Punk Gun is cool.
I
I like
guess.
Punk Gun. You know what I mean? I think I fuck with the story. It's I'm not even like upset. Like, oh, it's ending this way. How dare it? I'm just upset that a story I like is ending. Like, I don't know. It's like wow, you think it's so shit. It's like no. Like if you've like felt emotions, I think you would understand the concept of like
Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't get any emotions out of the story. That's what sucks. Yeah, that's
Yeah, no,
like
no, 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 no,
unfortunate.
no.
I
It's
didn't.
a,
It
it's a,
didn't
no,
make
no,
me
no,
feel
not,
anything. I'm
not.
glad you felt
It,
something. That's
it's a,
cool.
it's applying like an empathetic, the empathetic nerves there, right? Not you felt something for this story. The concept of feeling something for any story, and you can apply it. Like, oh, I'd understand how it is for a story I like to end. That's all it is. It's not doomer any more so than it would just be like, damn, this manga I like is finishing. Fuck, it's up, it's over. You know, shit. Sometimes it sucks. That's all it is. I don't think there's any less reason to be excited about like Punk Gun because of that. I think it's like really cool for what it was, um, and I fuck with it pretty heavy. That's all. I didn't know Mozane fucked with it. I thought it was just like me and Draco's bag though. Um, Mozane, you know ball like that. I was wanting another Punk Gun Glaze session to make me want to read the story, but it's about to be axed. I won't waste my time. God, bro, you the type to not want to start something because it'll eventually end.
That's pretty
Fuck,
fucked up. I actively read Aoyauchi, you know, after it was already ended. Like, give it a shot, dude. Like, this, look at them. Draco cried over this shit.
bro.
What's
The
wrong with you, Mozane? Give it
bro,
a shot.
the
If it's gonna be
impermanence of
41
things.
chapters, like, get it. Goddamn.
The impermanence of things makes me never want to engage with them. Sorry, bro. Wait till you hear about life. Fuck.
I
Um.
broke up with my girlfriend because, babe, you're gonna die one day.
Till death do us part. Nah, I can't get behind the whole marriage shit. You're letting something do us part. Fuck. Um. All right, time to talk about the urban legend files. Thoughts so far, Br? Dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Just we're we're still seeing that vid today, or did you have to push it back?
We def. I don't know who asked that, but we pushing it back. We pushing it way back.
Oh, MZ, the one
Um.
who said you could be a food coach.
Okay. Nice to know. Thank you for adding that in too. I needed to know that part too. What I read. What
Did
I
you
read.
fuck with Mojiro?
Why are you barraging me with like miscellaneous disparate questions?
I'm literally just reading chat, you asshole. Redman10 asks, did you fuck with Mojiro?
Yeah, I fucked it.
Fuck.
I fucked with Modular. I fucked with it pretty
Did
heavy.
you? I feel like you prepped an argument to have with me about it for something and we never got to it. I don't want to open it up
No,
here,
we didn't get
but
to it. We didn't get to it because there has to be another person present for that. And honestly, I don't think I'll be allowed to get the satisfaction that I want. And so I've just resigned to like I know in fact, and both people, you included, hate when I say this, but it's unfortunate. I just know, right? I'm just like that. I know, I see it. I see the multiple paths and none of them lead to the satisfaction I so desperately crave. And so I just have to like my consolation is like knowing for a fact I'm right and not having to deal with like the no, but actually what we meant was this and da 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 da. So yes, I
that's
like modular.
unironically crazy because you're like, I could visualize a goal in my mind
Uh-huh.
and it'd be such a cool goal.
Uh-huh.
I could make the fuck out of that goal.
Uh-huh.
But there's a couple people on the field who are pretty good. You know what? I'm just gonna live with the fantasy of that goal and give them the ball and lose the game.
Sure,
And I can at least fantasize about that goal that I thought of that one
exactly what I'm
time.
saying. It's more like this, right? The goal doesn't exist. These people's existence makes the goal disappear.
You gave up already? Yeah, that's okay. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. Yes.
That's in the middle of a soccer game, and you're like, you know what?
Yes.
I'm not even playing.
Not even in the middle of the soccer game. I'm actually just chilling. Just like, damn, it'd be cool. Too bad they cut off my legs, right? Because it has to do with other people, right? I can't force y'all.
Yeah, it's okay. They cut off your legs. Yeah. Nobody blames. You're the victim. Nobody blames you.
God, please let me. Hold on. No, it's okay. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. By food coach, I meant people who could use you as a model for what to do and what not to do when it comes to food and health. Thanks. Appreciate you. Thank you. Let's open up the discussion, guys. Let's have the stream go on for another 4 hours. If you want a 6-hour live stream, we did one yesterday, although it's for members. What the fuck is?
I would skip the first hour. Maybe the first hour and a half. Maybe the first 2 hours. So you have a 4-hour stream.
Ooh. BR, you've got to be reading Love Through a Prism. Give us your thoughts. Fuck. I'm not reading Love Through a Prism. I am reading A Fake Marriage at the Goldfish Shop, though. That shit was tough. I fucked with that kind of. I read that last night. I think at 3 in the morning. I think what had happened was I like woke up and I was like, I'm restless. Let me read some romance manga. And then I read it and I was like, fuck, this hits. It was only 17 chapters though. I think I need more. Yeah. Anyone have thoughts on the JJK Sendai voice actors? Lethality? You love voice acting.
I thought we were talking about chapters. Just finish up. You know?
I'm asking. I'm reading chat. What do you think about the JJK Sendai voice actors?
That's funny. You turned it around. Fuck. I'm sorry, Demon. I didn't know who it was. I heard the teaser. Like I saw the teaser for it and heard them. Cool. I don't have the Japanese VAs like memorized like that. Apologies. I'm excited. Yay, big JJK episode. Hell yeah. You know, I'm a bit of a JJK fan myself.
Yeah. Okay, type. Okay. Let's see. So that leaves 2 more manga to speak on. World Trigger and Bugle Call. These were 2.
Don't even gotta be that in depth. Because I'm like super hungry, yeah. But it's more of a like, hey, cool, reading these currently. I don't know. Do you know anybody else that's reading either of them?
Yeah.
That will come on, you know, because this is a series where you'll be cycling through like a Ben 10 whatever decks of people.
That'll come on.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
What? Who's reading it? Yeah, what?
Chill. There's no spoilers. Come on now, relax. But yeah.
Okay, well, infer it through like I don't know, like Morse code. Fucking text me.
It's cool. But yeah, I mean, we can just give general thoughts, right? I'll just say this. I will.
If I come back, these are 2 to talk about. But yeah,
sure, there. Yeah. I think these are probably 2 of my favorite reads of the year, and that's saying something. I've read quite a few manga this year, so definitely enjoyed them. Different ends of the spectrum, I'd say. I think World Trigger edges out Bugle Call for me a little bit, not to compare them too much, just to give y'all like a preference breakdown. Yeah, I like World Trigger a lot. I've been talking about World Trigger a little bit, or at least it's come up a few times, like on stream or like in a video or 2 or whatever. And so I will say that I really did like it. I think a bit. What's the word I'm looking for? Honestly, it's pretty interesting from the get-go. I'd say where I started really rocking with it though, where the like basic level of enjoyment turned into something that was like more of a I'm kind of hooked was maybe 50, 60 chapters in. Like, once again, have to clarify, enjoying it up to this point. But I think about that far in is where I'm like, okay, now it's not like a thing I'm telling myself to do, and more of like getting closer to a compulsion, and that ball just kind of keeps rolling. Um, yeah. Um, yeah. I think World Trigger might be one of my most reread series. Hell yeah. I didn't know there were a few World Trigger fans in here. Not gonna lie. Um,
I
let's
think
see.
most people are scared to admit that they like it until somebody that they like says they like it. So you're doing good work.
Hell yeah. Um, type. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. Ronan, what do you think of Centuria? God, I love the power system. It gives like a JJK Hunter x Hunter kind of feel to it.
Do you just want to end the call right now? Do you want to end
No.
the stream?
No. And the reason Lethal is getting mad, by the way, is because like I like to joke on Centuria, and it's like one of her favorite ongoing manga right now. Um, doesn't like when I make jokes about it or whatever, right? Um, but like yeah, no, it's really good stuff.
I don't have the
Um,
energy to get much more mad.
no, for
Just like,
sure.
come on.
Yeah. Don't get
Who's
mad.
your favorite character in World Trigger?
Uh, my answer is damn. I don't know.
Cool. Overall
I'll
score
think
out of
about
10
that.
for World Trigger up
I'll
to the
think.
point where it's at currently. How you
I'll,
feeling? How you feeling?
okay, damn. Just okay. I'll go faster. 8.5 for World Trigger. 8.5 for Bugle Call. I like both manga. There we go.
Whoa! You didn't say a damn thing about Bugle Call. What the
Yeah,
hell? You said something about World Trigger.
I like
Like, I
Bugle
just want to talk
Call.
about those.
I
You're the one who brought Centuria into this for no reason at
I was
all.
reading chat, but I still need to start it. But I haven't had the manga drive as of late. Fair. Probably get on World Trigger. That you should. It's good. It's good. Invasion afterwards really picks up Mad Steam. I feel you. Yeah. Yeah. Bugle Call's good. I like Bugle Call. I was worried. Expectations were pretty high. To start, and I will say Bugle Call definitely takes a little bit to pick up steam. It is just like a longer. It doesn't have very many chapters, but each chapter is like pretty long. Um, but it's good. I like it. I like Bugle Call quite a bit. A significantly different feel tonally, um, but you do definitely start to feel like as the manga progresses, it's like, yes, the themes and such that you were starting off with earlier. I see them. I see them culminating in some like interesting character work and even a bit of like a negative spiral for certain characters that I've come to like. Yes, I like it.
Ooh. If you want a slow burn manga
Hmm.
that the pacing isn't too fast and doesn't leave you in the dust, and it also takes place during a war in the past, and you want chapter after chapter of a war in the past,
Hmm.
you probably really fuck with Bugle Call. Because I fuck
Hell
with
yeah.
Bugle Call heavy. I love that stuff.
Yeah. If you want fantasy tragedy slop, Bugle Call will fucking get you right.
That is perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
fantasy tragedy slop. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Um, let's see. So yeah, both of those manga are pretty good. Definitely do recommend them. Both of them coincidentally feel like about like an 8.5 to me. Um, for distinct reasons, but I definitely fucked with them quite heavy. Hell yeah. Would you like to give your scores on each respective manga?
You didn't even score them. How am I supposed to know what to score if you don't give the score first?
Oh, no one ever listens to me, chat. Um, I just scored them.
Oh, I was not listening.
Yeah, I know. Give your score, please.
Did you repeat?
No, give your score, please. What do you rate them?
World Trigger has been a 10 out of 10 for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just one of my favorite ongoing stories, as is. And Bugle Call, it was like at a 7.5. Why am I saying a 0.5? What am I fucking gay? It was a 7. It was a 7 for like a really long time, but a 7 that I didn't want to put down because like you to your boy Megami, it's like I could feel the potential for it to be higher than a 7 But until I saw the fruition of that potential, it just stayed at a 7 for a long time. And I pretty much caught up as the most recent chapter dropped. It's at chapter 43. Again, each chapter is like 60 pages. So like comparing it to a weekly shonen manga, which is like between 15 to 20 pages a chapter, Bugle Call is pretty much like it's like a 160 chapter run. So like it'll be a good binge for anybody who wants to get into it. But it felt very serendipitous. It was nice catching up, and then chapter 43 drops, and it felt like a solid confirmation of all the reasons I felt that potential. And it's at like a 9 out of 10 now for me. I love Bugle Call. Really looking forward to where it goes. It could end soon. Like it's either gonna end within the next 10 chapters, or a point is gonna happen. A major arc is like nearing its conclusion. It could wrap up the story. It could just be the end of a major arc. Either way, like if it ended soon, it'd be a great story. But of course, it could go a lot longer. It's really cool. It's a slow burn though, you know. So be careful, guys. I know we love the fast pacing. You won't really get that, but there's a lot to read. It's fun. It's good. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's see. I'll say this before we head off. Gala BS, appreciate you for the very kind words. Thank you very much. That means a lot. I'm happy to hear that from you. But let's see. Otherwise, yeah. Wait, so Bugle Call, it's gonna be a short story. I don't know.
No, that ain't true. I just said it's like 160 chapters right now. Like in equivalence to the length of like another Shonen Weekly story. It's not weekly. It's a monthly release. But you know it does have the output of a weekly manga. It just releases monthly, where you'd get a new Ichi the Witch chapter in 1 week, and it's 15 pages. Each month you get 60 pages out of Bugle Call. You just gotta wait for the one long chapter to drop. But in totality, the length, it would end up being like a 200 chapter shonen manga. So if you consider that short, sure. It definitely gets through plenty, and it's very satisfying. Like I said, it could end now and it'd be a great fucking story. But it might not. So yeah.
Yep. But yeah. That's kind of the big catch up. What I've been reading, what she's been reading, largely at least. And yeah. Do you have anything else that you wanted to speak on, or are you good there?
Well, if I'm ever gonna come back, Punk Gun's gonna be out of the run. So anybody got any other currently releasing story? I like this as like a slotted system. 3 that are weekly releasing, and then 3 whatever the fucks. Punk Gun isn't even a monthly, but it's also like it drops 2 at a time. Like whatever, that's weird. So like, is there another currently releasing story that you want to get into, or that you're into already that I don't know about?
I don't know. I'll have to think. I'll have to go over my notes there. But I'll let you know. I'll let you know in case we run this back. We spin back on this in some form or fashion.
Fuck you too, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Hell yeah. But yeah, good stream. Good stream. How much did Bribey?
Yeah, good stream.
Yeah, she's not reading that. Cool stream. Nice to see what y'all are reading. Hell yeah.
What? I'm not reading that? What? I'm not reading what?
Make the Exorcist Fall in Love. Let's
Oh,
see.
why am I not reading that? What? I could read that if like whoever said it, I care about who said it.
Draco.
See, like I like Draco. Draco, make the I read the first chapter. Make the argument for me to like it. You have my DMs.
Type shit. So yeah, appreciate y'all for coming out. Appreciate y'all. And thank you, Lethality, for pulling up and talking about manga with me.
Totally. I may never do it again. I might. We'll see.
We'll see.